Time for Type 40 Live, materialising here again with the live stream Doctor Who magazine show all across your view screen in real time on Rumble, X, YouTube and on Facebook too, in front of a live chat full of friends, fans and companions just like you. Yes, you there. This is where the week in the Whoniverse starts. In case you have missed it, we might have caught it, and it works both ways. Of course it does. Perhaps you've seen or heard something outrageous, mysterious, or just really, really geeky. Let it all out here with us here at Type 40, completely live. Hello. We're back after a short break, a long weekend, very long weekend, come to think of it, to wet the whistle and to gather thoughts after all the hullabaloo. Remember? All new Doctor Who? Not that long ago, was it? Yes, we've had a bit of a rest from the vortex, but we're back now to begin July with you, the second half of 2024. I am Dan Hadley, Birmingham's king of the geeks, and I've got a panel full of pals almost ready to go. They're adjusting their dress as we speak and applying the shine wherever necessary. And we'll bring them on in a moment or two. How have you been? Me too, getting parky again. Isn't it? Who'd have thought that? If you're in the Facebook group, the Type 40 Facebook group, please remember, guys, hit the little blue link and then Facebook. Tell StreamYard who you are, and StreamYard whispers it to us. And we all get on first name terms here for this rifle through the drawers of all things Doctor Who. One drawer is marked classic, the other is marked new, and there's another marked all new as well. There is a bottom drawer as well marked not who, but we don't. We try not to go in there, do we? We cover the whole of the 61 years worth of Doctor Who, 15 incarnations and some change, depending on who you count. And we're going to count them into the console room right now. I think, we'll go for this one. K9, he hasn't done his business. Not yet, anyway. So there's plenty of room and no mess to tidy up. And that is how we like it, isn't it, John?
It's absolutely how we like it. And as Melanie Weston Investigates said in the chat, yes, it is me giving the shine with the top of my shiny head. Yes.
Oh, they know us so well, don't they? That's the kind of welcome we want back, isn't it, after a long weekend? How have you been anyway, mate?
Very well, thank you, mate. Very well. The weekend went too quick, though. That's the only negative. I need the weekends to be longer and the work week to be shorter. But I can't change that at the moment, unfortunately.
The only person I know who could probably do anything about that would probably be Stephen Moffat. He could write some sort of timey-wimey letter that may fool somebody for a little while. It may get you a few days off. I can't promise it would change your life forever, though.
Well, let's see what he can do. You put a word in, please, mate.
I'll do my level best. Until that, we'll have to make do. We can't get a showrunner, but we have got a producer, a writer, and a big old mega geek all of our own. Yes, he's back, everybody, to bring us pearls of wisdom and nuggets of truth, as well as, no doubt, dishing out a few of those tired old catchphrases of his. Welcome back, Ian David Diaz.
Hey.
Hello, mate. You
Sorry,
okay?
Mate. Boomer in there. There you go. Yeah, I'm all right. I'm doing all right. Yeah.
I was just boasting about your technical knowledge and prowess.
Well, yeah, I'll take it.
It's good to have you back, mate. Good to have you back. So, are you a fan of K9? I can never keep track.
I do like K9, but again, when I was a very young chap, I thought it looked cheap. But
cheap?
Now I can. Yeah, of course.
Cheap?
Of course. Everything in Doctor Who looked cheap. But
I don't know what you mean.
Now I'm a lot older. I appreciate K9 and appreciate the TARDIS and all that stuff. So yeah. I'm a fan of K9 now. I think he's great.
He's a very good dog,
man. They should bring him back.
They should bring him back. We'll have to do a poll about that one. We should K9 come back or not? Let us know. Instagram and X at Type 40 Doctor Who. Happily, we have someone else to join to complete the panel. We're bringing her back as well. I'm happy to say a lippy is applied. Mouth could be in gear, although no doubt she's not promising anything. Of course, who else but Shah?
Who else could it possibly be? Who else? Hi.
Good evening.
I'm feeling. Speaking of K9, I'm feeling a bit like K9. I'm cold. What else am I? Breaking down all the time, just because the weather's not been too good. But otherwise, not too bad. But yeah, you're quite right. Lippy's always applied now after that mishap of last. I think it was
where are you
like that.
this time, Shah? Because you're not in your bedroom, are you?
She's in the Maldives.
Oh, clearly I'm in the Maldives. Yeah. I am in the bedroom, but thank you.
Oh, right, okay. Just different side of it.
This is me in my bedroom, folks.
Oh,
Sign
right.
up to OnlyFans. Yeah.
Oh dear, oh dear. Never mind that. They'll be blowing a fuse. Any more of that talk? How's your week been, Shah? Okay.
Oh, crazy. It just feels like it's been a bit non-stop, but otherwise okay. My dog's whining in the back behind my door because she wants to get in on the action, I think. I just realised it looks really dingy and dark in here. It actually it's quite bright. Let me just let me do a little science and see if I can brighten this.
Shah's going to go have a word with Alexa and see if she can sort of turn things up.
Yeah, that's the best it gets, I'm afraid.
There you go. You're positively glowing. Well, oh dear, oh dear. The gags keep on coming. Okay,
come on here.
Well, you come on to talk about Doctor Who, don't you? Doctor Who.
Yeah,
now, obviously, we've just wrapped the season, so you'd think there'd be less to talk about, wouldn't you? But this is Type 40. There's never really any less to talk about.
There's never. What's the word I'm looking for? It's never dull, and it's never without Doctor Who. There's always something to talk about. There's never quite enough to go around, is there? But we manage somehow.
It's always kicking off. There's always somebody misbehaving or saying things that they shouldn't. Well, I don't think we're mentioning him on this show, but we've got lots of other things that we can talk about on YouTube, Rumble, X, and on Facebook too, I am happy to say. And as well as all of that and all of him, he's still smiling, heaven knows why. As well as that, we're going to talk about whatever there is that's on your mind too. We cast our net across social media this last weekend to see and hear how you were coping with an all-new Doctor Who-less TV week, and we wanted to hear about those little niggles that are sticking with you since the end of Empire of Death and everything else. So stay with us for all of that. We're going to get stuck into all those comments, everything that you sent. So yeah, there's a lot to talk about and many pearls of wisdom, no doubt, to unearth.
Welcome to Type 40.
Yes, hanging out with the Doctor there and hanging with some friends. We're going to keep it relatively clean, considering it's before the watershed. Of course, it may not be for you because
4 minutes and we'll be all right.
Yes. Oh, yeah, we've got to get to the quarter of an hour mark, haven't we? So, yeah, all bets will be off then. We'll keep all the kinky stuff until after that. Yes, including you. None of that either. But fortunately for us, there are things trending across social media that we can talk about, the things that have happened over the weekend. Now, a couple of months ago, if you remember, our last look at Ruby Sunday, played by Millie Gibson, was when she was about to enter the TARDIS for the very first time. And it was all very dramatic, and we were wondering where it was going to go, where it was going to take her, how long she was going to be there. And now it's kind of in the rear view mirror, isn't it? Things have gone a particular way. The Doctor and his companion have parted company, which we did have an inkling that was going to happen. But there's other things going on as well, I'm happy to say, because Ruby Sunday, alias Millie Gibson, announced on her IG account, Instagram, that she was joining her next role, and it's filming now, and we got our first look at her last week. This is the new look for Millie Gibson, now with sort of red flowing locks. Had you seen this, Shah?
No, but I like it. She suits it. I like it more than the blonde. I do. I'm a bit of a sucker, though, for girls with red hair. I always think they just look, there's something quite timeless about that look. And I'm all for it. She really suits it. Oh, actually, she's got a Jessica Rabbit kind of vibe with that. I like it.
I suppose she has. I can certainly imagine her in that sort of red dress that she wears. Easy Tiger. Yes, but I think that looks fantastic. Sure. But she put this up on social media along with a caption that said that I'm super excited. That was it. I'm super excited to say I'll be joining the beautiful cast of the Forsyth Saga as Irene. The Forsyth Saga, I don't know if you remember this, Ian, but it is a series from way way back, and it's been on television before, so it's one of those things that everybody's probably heard of. But the story's getting a fresh, new 6-part adaptation. Even though it's been on TV before, there's been 2 earlier iterations of this, and they were based on books by a guy called John Galsworthy. That it's one of those sort of sweeping sagas that chronicles the lives of generations of a family, an upper middle class English family, and they're descended from farmers. They're new money, so that's where the drama comes from. They're trying to sort of make their way through high society, and so that's what Millie Gibson's gone over to work on, this brand new version of the Forsyth saga. So it's a pretty big deal, and it looks like a very, very glossy production. It's through Masterpiece and the production company Mammoth. It's going to be on PBS. I don't know if the BBC are going to have this time, because the early versions, the first one was done by the BBC and then the second one by ITV. And here's Millie with the rest of the cast. That's quite a list of names there, isn't it? You can see Stephen Moyer there from True Blood, and Josette Simon from Blake Seven and the Royal Shakespeare Company. So lots of icons there, John. Check it out.
Yeah, it's fantastic, isn't it? And blimey, Millie looks amazing, but there's another redhead in the bottom right that is one of my crushes. So I'm going to be watching this one.
In the bottom. So who's that then in the bottom right? Eleanor? Yeah. Is that Eleanor Tomlinson?
That's the one.
Where might we have seen her before?
Wasn't she in Poldark?
Oh, that would make sense. Yeah, because this is being adapted by Debbie Horsfield, who was the main writer, I think, of that earlier Poldark series on the BBC a few years ago now. So that would make sense. Susan Hampshire is there as well. Susan Hampshire, OBE, Ian, a dependable actress. She's been in all sorts of things for like 60 years, but she was in that original version of the Forsyth saga on the BBC. And there's other faces that I sort of recognise from various things. Jack Davenport there, always a class act. Francesca Annis in the top left, another acting heavyweight. This could be quite good if you like that kind of thing, Ian. Is this your bag?
Not really. At the bottom I've noticed it says PBS. Is that the American company?
Yeah, because it's a serious drama. Drama.
Yeah. See, they're mucking around with the diversity stuff again. So, good luck to them. I mean, if you're into that stuff, you're into that stuff. But I'm not really into that stuff. So
I suppose it depends who they're playing, doesn't it?
Well, knowing today's lot, they'll probably bend a few rules, won't they, when it comes to history? So there you go. Could be. The original books are set in the 1920s, Shah, so it's that kind of Downton Abbey era there. Is this your kind of thing? Would you watch this?
It's not. I've never really been into anything that's a period drama or anything. I've never been a Downton girl or anything like that. So this isn't my cup of tea personally, but I know that this kind of thing is very popular with people, which I guess is all we can hope for with entertainment. So in that case, I'm all for it, and I hope it does really, really well. But yeah, I don't recognise many people from that either, which is quite unusual because I like to think I know at least someone, apart from Millie Gibson, obviously. But yeah, no, I'm if that's great. If that's your kind of bag, go for it. Was it
also a radio show as well? Was it, Dan? I can't remember the full
maybe. I think it has been adapted several times to various different formats, so it wouldn't surprise me at all. Those kind of dramas do play very, very well, and they have that. I think the books still sell pretty well as well. I'm just really happy that Millie's found something else here, and after we suspect she's let go from Doctor Who.
This stuff is good for actors because they get known throughout the world, because these kind of things sell around the world, especially this type of drama. The Americans love this kind of drama, so hopefully she'll go from there to an American production and keep doing stuff basically. So because she didn't deserve Doctor Who, let's face it. So
well, it's quite likely. It is quite likely that more people will see her in the Forsyth saga than saw her in Doctor Who, sadly, because of the way that things ultimately went down. We just want good things for nice people, don't we? I think Millie's been fantastic throughout the season, to be honest, Shah. She's been very dependable in a way that her co-star maybe hasn't been. So, I think she just deserves to go on to greater success in my book. Speaking of companions, there was a birthday in the TARDIS as well over the weekend. It was Maureen O'Brien. Maureen O'Brien turned 81, everybody. Of course, she played Vicky in the classic series. And there she is, look, catching some sun. And they're with the script all the way back in, that would be 1964, wouldn't it, John, when she was cast as Vicky in Doctor Who?
Yeah, blimey, and going through the first Doctor adventures at the moment, I won't be far off before I get to her era, but she still looks great, doesn't she, for her age? And I've enjoyed her when she's popped back up in Big Finish as well, every now and again. So keep them coming.
She was in 30, maybe 40 episodes of Doctor Who from 1964 through to 65 opposite William Hartnell. And but lately, then she sort of distanced herself from it for quite a long period of time. She couldn't get work. She became a supply teacher for a little while, and then re-entered acting and started to turn up in things like Inspector Morse and getting really good parts and Cracker, all that kind of thing. But in recent years, she has sort of found her way back to the TARDIS through audio work, as a lot of them have through Big Finish, but also on screen too, because she was in the Tales of the TARDIS, Tales from the TARDIS last autumn, fully robed up there in the robes that Paul McGann wouldn't wear.
Yeah.
That's a right get up, that, isn't it?
Yeah, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes. That's how confused I look when my alarm wakes me up at the weekend.
Sorry,
what was that, Sosha?
In a robe.
No, he doesn't sleep in a robe.
Is my connection lagging? Sorry.
I think it could be lagging. I think it could be lagging a touch. We'll try and adjust accordingly. But no, the look of confusion on Vicky's face there, because obviously Maureen's acting. It's not her that's confused. It's Vicky.
Yeah. You know what she's saying there, don't you?
What's she saying?
She's going, why is there a big giant bloody dog outside the TARDIS door?
I've heard the stories, haven't watched the episodes. Haven't heard the stories, have not watched the episodes, but yeah.
Yeah, don't bother.
Yeah, wow.
There's no chance. There is no chance of them living that down anytime soon. It's on all of our minds, I think. I suspect it's probably on their minds too. So it's about time we went and checked in with our friends there in the live chat across YouTube, Rumble, Facebook and X, and to see if it's still all about the canines of various sizes over there.
Aha.
Ha ha ha, he says maniacally, Ian. What you might have seen something that I haven't. What awaits me there in the comments from our friends watching on YouTube, Rumble, Facebook and X? Let's find out. Lord Thoth was first in with his hail everyone.
He
Be inclusive as ever.
He always gets in so early. I love it.
More often than not. We've got Michael Q in the live chat as well, who says, hello, my lord. And I say Doctor Who is doomed. Thank you. Good to have you back, Michael. Oh, yeah. Well, we've got some white pills. You may feel...
Yeah,
you may feel differently later. Yeah. Happy Canada Day, as Lord Thoth. It's Canada Day. What is Canada Day, Ian? What is Canada Day? You've lived there. You must know.
Yeah, I think it's like Independence Day, where they celebrate the day of Canada. I think, I'm not sure. I only celebrated it once when I was over there, obviously, because I was only there for a year. Actually, no, was I there for more than a year? More than a year, but I never got round to it. Just once, So it's like Bank Holiday Monday, but it's longer, basically. So yeah. Times.
We've got one here from Tom as well, from T-Dwarf Productions. It was Tom's birthday a few days ago. He says, I enjoyed my birthday and now I'm making crab monsters. That's a really therapeutic way to spend one's time.
Didn't I see
Tom having fun?
That's your thing. I'd be way too frustrated.
Gary says that Canada Day is drinking beer, eating bacon, and watching the hockey. He says, right? So,
all at the same time.
Yeah. I don't know.
Multitasking Canadians, I like it. Ben Case is into watching us on YouTube and says, hi, everyone. Hi, Ben. Good to have you with us. Richard's there too. Greetings to all everybody. Retro.Gary Akers, just as you've spotted there, Ian. Adrian James is here too with an evening, everyone. And we've got Peter Harrington. He's sort of fettling his way around here and there. we'll grab him by the short and curlies and get a proper comment up from him later on. Psychic Beats says hello, everyone. And we have Fly Highland there too. Hello, Hooniacs. I've never heard that one before. Hooniacs, you having that, John? Yeah.
Oh, wow. They've obviously heard a lot about us, haven't they, really?
Word clearly gets around. Yeah, there's Melanie Weston commenting upon your head there, just as you said. You said.
Yes, the bonce.
What have you done to your head?
I know. I go up to the old bowling alley and I just stick it in where the ball comes out.
Just stick it in.
Catch a bit for free, yeah. Got one from Geek Rambles, but that's you.
Me.
So yeah, we're doing the thing again.
Who be that?
We've got Ezra Goldstein here too, as well as Sentai Ranger Danny. And he said hello to you, Shah, from Western Washington, where it's already noon.
Wow. Good.
There you go. Enigmatic Joker wants K9 back. Yeah, and Gary says that K9 is a dog that I actually want to see on Doctor Who. So yeah, his welcome is still obviously very much in the hearts of Doctor Who fans there. Stephen Braddock says, Shah, we love our pets on Zoom. There you go.
I know, but if Molly came in, she'd just start trashing the gaff and eating everything inside, especially things that she's not supposed to eat. And then she'll be up on me because she just she has no concept of personal space, so she'll be here. All you'll see is Molly, which will probably be an improvement. So if she carries on crying, I'll let her in, and you can see exactly what I mean. But I think she's all right now. I think she's settled down now. Bless her.
Peter Harrington asks, is that the Bruce Forsyth saga? And is Millie Gibson playing Anthea? Wow, that's a deep cut, Peter. I like to pretend that I have no idea what you're talking about, but yes, I do know exactly what you're talking about. Good game.
I do, definitely. Oh my gosh, going back.
Over the Overseer suggests that Russell T. Davis would not approve of the lack of diversity in the cast of the new Forsyth saga. I don't know. Maybe. I mean, I suppose we don't know how these individuals identify. One of them could identify as a lampshade or whatever's the current thing. You know, don't judge on appearances over the Overseer. It's good to have you in the live chat.
There's 2 black people there in the cast, so... You know,
I love Josette Simon. I'd watch anything with that woman, and she's so great. I've loved her since Blake 7. She was like 19 years old when she was in Blake 7. My God,
she doesn't look a day over 19, does she? She looks quite young there as well.
Yeah, she's absolutely fabulous. A proper class act. Avon Lives, says Lord Thoth. It's always good to remind people that Avon does indeed live. Lol. Fly Highland found out yesterday that Paul McGann was originally cast as Sharp, but injured his knee during filming, so they recast, and Sean Bean got the part, and that role, kick-started his career. It did. Now, as you know, Paul McGann does subscribe to Type 40, so Paul, come and tell us about that one of the times. Are you kicking yourself over that to this day? That was a really good gig for Sean, wasn't it?
The only thing that Sean has starred in that he didn't get killed in. So there you go.
Yeah.
Don't say that. They'll bring him back for one more. You know what happened? They'll bring him back for one more, and it'll be called Sharp's Big End or something. And they'll, oh God, that sounds like the porno version. But
sounds rude.
But you know exactly what you were doing, Dan. Don't even try to deny it.
Me?
Video footage of him getting thrown out of the bar in Liverpool.
Happy birthday, Vicky, says Mega Neurobite.
Happy birthday,
couldn't agree
Vicky.
More. Happy birthday, Maureen, says Ezra Goldstein. I think she'd probably like that one slightly better. And Liam Neeson's chin is here too. Greetings all. Glad I've caught the stream. Well, we're glad we've caught you too there, Liam Neeson's chin. It's been a little while, I think, since we've seen you. So keep those comments coming, everybody. None of this is going to make any sense. Of course it isn't. Why would it? It never has on the previous 160-odd shows. We need you to hold the course with us. Keep us kind of on track and fueled with fabulous comments, observations, witticisms, and whatever else springs to mind. We are all ears here at Type 40 Live. What else is there? Oh, yes, your favourite subject, Ian, and your favourite bloke. Check it out. Yeah. So I'll let you groan. I'll let you groan now. There he is. Go on, have a good one, Ian. Have a good throaty one here. So yes, so this is Ncuti Gatwa, who plays Doctor Who, supposedly, sometimes here and there, in between other things that he's doing in various other episodes. But yes, the question of Ncuti Gatwa, obviously, is very much in the air now while people process what they've seen so far and how it was delivered. But Russell T Davies has started speaking as well to Doctor Who magazine this week, specifically about Ncuti Gatwa and how his availability or unavailability impacted on the production of his first season of The Doctor. It turns out that if Ncuti hadn't been busy filming the final season of Sex Education for Netflix, then the episode 73 Yards probably wouldn't have appeared in this season at all. They hired Ncuti knowing that he was still contracted to Sex Education and started the production going, and then seemed to film what they could in and around his availability. Now, I think this is really quite peculiar to cast such a huge role as the Doctor in a major relaunch like this and to have it kind of at the mercy of his schedule, of his commitments elsewhere. My gut instinct is if the bloke wasn't free, then they probably shouldn't have hired him or have moved the entire production, because let's face it, a lot of the absence of Ncuti Gatwa from that season, I feel sure, actually did harm it. We'd only got 8 episodes. What on earth was Russell T Davies doing this?
Oh, God knows. I've asked myself the same thing this whole season. What is Russell thinking? I mean, you've got a guy who literally cannot be available for production. And it's like you said, it's noticeable. Like, I've noticed that. I like Ncuti, and I think he's actually done quite a good job. Imagine what we could have got if we had more of him. So I
feel exactly the same way.
The whole production, something. Thank you, because I didn't know if I was alone, but I just thought it was ridiculous.
No, I feel just as you do.
An actor that isn't. Yeah, that isn't available, and not only that, but a lot of it for me is, well, hang on a minute, what the hell has this whole series been about? Because I don't understand the decisions that have been made. They just seem so half-baked. I don't know what to. Yeah, that's my whole thought about the whole thing. It's just everything just didn't seem right. Everything felt like it was shoddily put together, lazily written. It was sloppy. You had your main actor this is our first series of a new Doctor. This is so important, and it's meant to be the reboot, to sort of take away from things that had happened in years gone by.
Yeah.
What for? I mean, I totally understand when David Tennant wasn't available for production, they did 4 specials, and what great 4 specials they were. That works in this instance, not when you're introducing a brand new Doctor. The whole thing just seems bizarre to me.
It does, doesn't it? And to have it be from. So he'd been on screen for 8 days, and then he vanished, pretty much vanished for another fortnight. I quite like Dot and Bubble as a piece of sci-fi, and I think that when he does appear in that, in fact, when he's in 73 Yards, he's good in that too. But the fact is, he is hardly in both of them. It seems ridiculous, John.
It's bizarre, and to be honest, this kind of cements for me what I thought at the beginning, that there wasn't actually ever an audition process. He was handpicked for this role by RTD, and him saying about this scheduling kind of ties in with that for me.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah. So the nonsense before that they were saying, I've said before, it's like when you have a job interview at work, and basically you have to let everybody apply for it, but you know who you're going to give. I've already got someone. Yeah. So this all smells of that, really. So it's just like you said, it's so strange that they decided to go with that, but then have him not there at all. I mean, it's a massive gamble, especially when you're trying to effectively relaunch a show, And
I think it's mad. Like, what actor on the planet gets an opportunity where they are cast with one of the biggest roles in British and now world culture, or Western world culture especially, and you don't have to. Your scheduling doesn't allow you to be in it. That just sounds so wrong. Why would you cast someone? I mean, I don't know, unless there's just the biggest cock up that's ever happened. Well, I don't know, Ian, because there's many black actors that could do a job If that's
Yeah,
what they were
but they
wanting to
have to
go for,
be.
just for the sake of argument.
Yeah,
Do
I
you
know,
know?
but the
But
thing is,
yeah, but
though, they we all know why they did it. There's no point even talking about it. Give me real
well, let's
Doctor
not
Who,
let's
not
not
this
pretend he
nonsense.
can't act, Ian. Let's not pretend he's not a good
No,
actor.
I've seen clips. He can't act. He's not a very good actor at
Oh,
all.
We've
he
got,
can.
we
That's
have
In
my
got
my
opinion.
opinion, he
My
over the
definitely can.
overseer. Perhaps it's not fair to judge on clips. I don't know. I deliberately didn't
you.
watch his other stuff because I wanted to see him first in this role. I had a mind, and I think I said on the show before that I wanted the Matt Smith effect. I didn't want to see the actor. I wanted to see the Doctor. That did sort of happen, but not in the way that it did with Matt Smith. Over the Overseer is just one of a few people in the live chat who do disagree, and people who did watch Sex Education in particular. It was very, very popular. And he says, I've seen a lot of people in these live chats saying that Ncuti can't act, but I think that's unfair. He was amazing in Sex Education. Let's not forget that Whittaker was great in Broadchurch, as well as several other shows and movies. Just awful, terribly miscast as the Doctor. It's not, she's just not capable of reaching that kind of role. I think there's a lot more left to see with Ncuti.
He was miscast, then that's the thing. If he was
I don't think he was miscast. I think
maybe he wasn't directed properly.
Yeah, I believe he's being mismanaged, and that's.
I don't.
I would also say, in my opinion as well, I don't think a lot of these actors sadly do see Doctor Who as a high profile role anymore. And that is a really sad
do you
thing.
think they see it as a do you think they see it as a stepping stone, John?
Purely that now. I think back in the day, a lot of people that got the roles, they thought they'd made it when they hit that role of the Doctor, and then they went on to do other great things. But I think now it's kind of like you were saying there, Dan. I think it's, I'll do this for 3 years and that'll be my vehicle to go on and do movies or do something else. So I do think that's crept in a lot more as well, sadly.
Well,
yeah.
based on the Christmas special that I saw, he didn't impress me at all. I thought he was really miscast as the Doctor, and I just thought he couldn't act. He couldn't act at all, judging by that episode or that Christmas special. So, I mean, a lot of people think my way, a lot of people think your way. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day, does it?
There's not much we can do about it.
No,
but
exactly.
I tell you what, a lot of people. I think a lot of people are calling into question now because Russell T Davies. I think this Russell T Davies we've got now isn't always as truthful as he could be, and I'm starting to come round to this way of thinking that John's got, in that story that Russell told before, that Ncuti was the very last person we auditioned. We had no idea what he was going to do. We were blown away. We never expected. I suspect they always had an intention to cast that man, and that there's a bit of smoke and mirrors perhaps being employed here. Liam Neeson's chin said, I never had any doubts about Ncuti's acting ability. I just wish they would give him a defining look and character traits rather than crying and yelling. I do agree with this. I'm frustrated by what I'm seeing from Ncuti so far, and I think only really being in 6 of them hasn't helped. Here's what Russell T Davies had to say in Doctor Who magazine. He said, so he hadn't finished working on Sex Education yet, but it was a risk we were willing to take because he is so mesmerising as the Doctor. I need a few more seconds to take that in. A risk they were willing to take at this time when Doctor Who couldn't afford to take any risks at all. He says, we made absolutely the right decision. We took a chance with scheduling and got the best possible Doctor for 2024. We had to do a Dr. Light story for his first season. Who doesn't love them? Well, I don't.
I don't.
Some of them have been okay, but I don't love them. I don't love them, John. Yeah.
Seriously.
If Ncuti had been available, we wouldn't have. Yet it worked out well in the end. And we couldn't have made a better choice for the 15th Doctor, insists showrunner Russell T Davies in this month's Doctor Who magazine. So, yeah, Russell is resolute, but then again, he's always resolute, isn't he, Shaw?
I was going to say, that he could say any old drivel. I don't believe a word that comes out of the guy's mouth. So,
no.
Yeah, great stuff. You hired who you wanted to hire. That's fantastic. I like Ncuti. I like his Doctor. I don't like everything about his Doctor, but I like it for the most part. Or at least I like it way more than I dislike him. That's probably the best way to put it. But the only good thing that came out of 73 Hours was getting to see what Millie Gibson can do. That was it.
Yeah.
Doctor Light episodes and Companion Light episodes are fine by me. I mean, Midnight is one of my favourite stories, because it really showcased 6 or 7 people in a room.
Mine too.
And this, and there's, I think that's quite universally liked. But
What's your
I
reading
can't.
there,
There's
then?
no episode.
Shopping list, mate.
Yeah.
Fine.
There's no episode where I'm thinking, God, that was an absolute banger. Everyone is gonna love that. That's one I'm gonna rewatch to the end. It's not.
Yeah.
So that's my only. I think you can only judge it on that. Or would you watch it again? No.
It seems very evident to me that what they have to do to save Doctor Who is get rid of Russell T, get rid of the production team, get rid of Ncuti, and start again. That's what I think. But then again,
scrap the whole thing, right? Start all over again.
That's me, right? So,
no, it's not.
I wouldn't go.
Didn't mind it.
I wouldn't go that drastic, but I think there needs to be a few kicks up a few arses. Yeah, no more silly decisions.
My steel boot. Come on,
no more risks. This show can't afford to take stupid risks and gambles like that. It can't afford to think, oh, maybe they'll like this, maybe they'll like that. Oh, this will do, won't it? No. It's not going to wash anymore, particularly internationally, where you haven't got that. It's not that Americans and Australians and Canadians and Europeans don't like Doctor Who. They do, but they won't indulge it in the way that Brits will. They won't put up with any old nonsense and any old stupid decision. Just think, oh, well, it's Doctor Who and it's kind of like one of the family. It's not going to watch with people in 21st century streaming age TV, Russell. So, yeah, get your arse into gear, my friend. You can read the full interview or the full piece.
Yeah.
Read the full piece in Doctor Who magazine this month, everybody, if you want more of that. Russell T Davies has his own column in there.
That's not the Doctor. I don't know what.
If I didn't see the Doctor Who logo there,
yeah, exactly.
I'll be honest. I thought it was Peter Craig catalogue from the early 90s.
Yeah, exactly.
Or Danny Zuko from Greece, the new multi-ethnic version of Greece, of course. But yeah, exactly. I could see him playing Danny Zuko in Greece. That'd be quite a laugh.
They've actually stripped the quality of what Doctor Who is about, as far as I can see, and also, as said, judging by the Christmas special. Never mind.
I would also say
I didn't mind that Christmas special. I thought it was all right.
I quite liked it, but it didn't set my world on fire. You know what I mean?
About RTD as well.
But I thought it was a great introduction to a Doctor. Sorry, I thought that was a really good introduction to him. Yeah,
I would say RTD is amazing. Before the 60th and all that came back, there were quite a lot of people that were excited to hear the next thing that he said. But it's amazing now how so many people are just like, "Shut up! We just don't want to hear about your, what you've got to say anymore," because it's just you blow it up to 11 and then it never delivers. So.
Yeah.
Oh well, be careful what you wish for.
Moving on.
Moving on.
Says that Ncuti is a great actor, just not every Doctor will be your favourite. I think that's truthful. I think that's quite that's provable, isn't it? Not everyone is going to be a character that you will immediately latch onto and think, oh, that's my favourite, particularly as we get older when we've seen a few come and go. But you can recognise the cornerstones to the character, Ian, and think, well, at least...
Yeah. There are a few Doctors, like everybody knows I don't like Sylvester McCoy. But then I remember I was talking to you one day, Dan, and then I thought that the Dalek episode. I can't remember. I'm useless with names when it comes to the episode. The one with the baseball bat.
Daleks.
Yeah,
and I really liked it. I mean, I thought he was okay as the Doctor. There's got to be one episode that you think, do you know what? Even though I don't like that Doctor, he was good in that. Do you know what I mean? And that was.
Do you see him? Do you see him as the Doctor though?
Yes, in that episode, I saw him as a Doctor.
That's what you need. As long as you have your Doctor moment.
I love when he comes into the van and he takes control over that van and he's like, "What's this?" Blah blah blah. And everybody's like, "Who the hell is this?" So that was the Doctor, right? That was the Doctor. So,
my opinion, we've talked about it before, but the last season, personally, I didn't see any of that from Ncuti. And I'm glad people liked it, but I just didn't see my Doctor moment. Will that change? It may well do. But I
hope so. I got mine, but it's like I said, it's not without its flaws, and his acting and the way his demeanor isn't without its flaws either. I'm not saying he's perfect by any stretch of the imagination. I've had a Doctor moment, so that's the only reason why I sort of see it. But But on the other hand, I completely understand where other people are coming from. If they don't feel that he's a doctor, that's absolutely fine as well, because I can understand it. It's just a shame more than anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's huge potential there, and that's why I still sort of have faith. I have faith in him, but I don't think we'll probably see any changes that we need to see until season 3. And by that point, I mean, will he stay past the 3rd season? It could well end up being too late, or it could just be time for him to move on in the way that actors sometimes do, particularly if it is a stepping stone, just as you believe, John. Melanie Weston says Russell T Davies needs to go, and they need a script editor who will tell it as it is, not just agree with everything when it's clearly a mess of a script. No, of course.
Like that would happen. It's full of sycophants, obviously, in that room. You know.
Same here from TARDIS Time. They need a script editor.
Sorry.
That's got the same here from TARDIS Time. You are a little. TARDIS Time says the same thing, though. Shah says they need a script editor that will stand up to Russell T Davies and just say no, or at least give him pushback. We don't expect them to be a loggerhead, Shah, like hitting one another over their heads with the ashtray or whatever.
Have you seen those clips on YouTube where they're doing the read-through? Where they're doing the read-through. Have you seen it, Dan?
No.
Clips on YouTube. They're doing the read-through, and I can't believe people sat there and went, this doesn't, nobody put their hand up. Excuse me, Russell, but this doesn't make any sense in this script, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Obviously, nobody's going to challenge him, are they? You know, so.
Don't forget, no one says no to Russell, according to even himself. So.
Ian Scales says they keep writing Doctor moments, but I don't think any of them have landed. I think that could be subjective, just as you say, Shah. Gradually, there may be some that hit for more than others, and vice versa. There'll be other things that reach other people, and that's why you've kind of got to let people who say they're. I mean, obviously, people can do what they want. I can't relate to the idea that you've seen one episode. Okay, I'm out after one episode. I think, I don't. How much of a fair chance are you sincerely giving an actor in a role, particularly a role like Doctor Who that's been played now by 13, 14 other people? You know what I'm saying?
Dan, right? If something is so bad. For me, the Christmas special was incredibly bad. That was enough for me, right? It didn't even capture my imagination. It didn't drag me in, nothing. It just literally, I went, this is not Doctor Who, and I was out. You know, so it is possible. One episode
my
can
stepdad
literally
did the
make
same
you
thing.
go. You know, so
did you have a reflex action? Think, that's something about that person that winds me up or pushes me right away. Anthony Parkinson says Gatwa can't even do an accent. One of the things I like the best about him is actually his voice. I like it, like Paul McGann, even though Paul McGann's from Liverpool. You can't quite pin Paul McGann down to where he comes from, his incarnation of the Doctor. I find that in Ncuti as well. There's the twang of the Scots accent in there. There's something of the African in there too, but you can't nail it down to anywhere. And I think that's very Doctor Who. I didn't like the fact that Peter Capaldi played it as a Scotsman, and I didn't like the insinuation that Eccleston's character was from Manchester. The Doctor should be from kind of everywhere and nowhere all at the same time, in my opinion. And finally, we've got this one from Philip Roy, who says, "Hi, gang. Do we know if Russell T Davies is bringing more writers into season 2, or is he doing the lion's share again?" Yes, it's been shot done some time. He has said again in Doctor Who magazine there are 4 other writers other than him. 8 episodes again. I would imagine he's still writing a good chunk of them, but there's 4 other writers. Now, will they be each of those 4 writers script one episode, or will there be a team like Rogue, who got Kate Herron and Bryony Redman? Daubed. Rogue. Dan,
is the Christmas special in the season 2 block, or is it in the season 1 block?
Who knows?
I think it's in the season. I believe it's in the season 1 block.
Okay, because I was going to say, if he's saying 4. Moffat's doing 1. You've got those 2 that did Loki, so that only leaves 1 extra writer, doesn't it? Potentially for season 2. So yeah, it's similar to what we got already.
Oh, more on the way, everybody. More on the way. Lots to keep us talking and scoffing and drinking and talking and everything in cycle, as always. Let us know what you think of it all. Was this just another dropped bollock from showrunner Russell T Davies there with Ncuti? Has Ncuti been dealt the bad hand, or is it actually Ncuti's fault and he's simply been miscast? And that's the end of it. Let us know what you think there in the comments section. Whilst you're at it, if you're enjoying this stream, you can peruse our playlists until your heart's content, other podcasts and extra videos, as well as other live streams too. Earlier editions of Type 40 Live, 160 odd of them are all there, all in chronological order. I'd start with some of the newer ones first, though. So you've got these, that's just some of the recent ones. You've got our coverage there of all new Doctor Who, some reaction shows on the night, as well as the Tales of the TARDIS special from a couple of weeks ago. There's our rolling news, our weekly news show on Thursdays, and there's our occasional deep dives into favourites or just notorious stories from Doctor Who's past, the classic series and the new series. All bets are off with those, but the last one we did was the Robots of Death. There's another one coming up in the summer, which we won't tell you about that just yet, but there could be a clue there, or maybe not. While you're pondering that, we're going to ponder some porcelain here at Type 40, going off for a quick break. This is a chance for a shuffle back through the time streams. Of course it is, and we'll be back with more Type 40 Live in a couple of minutes.
Where is it? Which one is it?
The whole thing.
What, all that?
Yeah, but not that bit. You've done that bit already. Just the intro and the outro, okay?
Come on. Yeah, all right, yeah. Hello. I'm Tom Baker. Welcome to this special... What do you mean? Which reminds me, have I got time to tell them about the time I was battling Davros on the planet... No. What? What do you mean, no? What do you mean? How can we say no? He wasn't watching.
Yeah. A round of applause for Mr. Steve.
Yeah.
Just raise your weight just a little.
What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Oh, come on, that's how you got the job in the first place.
I must say, he's got a nice light touch. Yeah. Are there going to be many of these?
This is the row of...
When Paul said there are a few...
I hope I didn't scare you. Or do you want it more naturalistically? Oh, and what is it now?
Welcome back to Type 40 Live here with us for another one. More nonsense, more Doctor Who, the past, the present, and the future of the Whoniverse here with us on this edition. Where on earth has Shah gone? She's dematerialised, and there she's back. She's back. So I'm here in the console room again with John Yordan, Shah, and Ian David Diaz. Did you miss it? Did you miss Tom there getting the "Have I Got News for You" people in a spin?
I only got a few, but I had to restart because I was lagging that badly that I couldn't even watch it properly. So I'll watch it on the rewatch just so I can.
There you go.
Definitely get my watching.
He is one of a kind. He is definitely.
Tom Baker is one of a kind, says Liam Neeson's chin there, Ian. Now that's a doctor, says Richard, and yeah, lots of comments here from Tom. Hail Tom Baker. Tom's a legend, and that laugh, unmistakable laugh of the great Tom Baker. Yeah. We've been discussing Doctor Who mainly in the present over the last 40, 50 minutes or so on this edition of Type 40 Live, our early edition, and there's lots more to get stuck into as well. Of course there is. So we want your comments as always. So yes, this has become somewhat notorious, hasn't it, by now? This was the season finale of All New Doctor Who, the two-part season finale, which in some ways was spectacular, in other ways perhaps less so. But it's left us all in a bit of a spin, I think. It's departed screens not exactly earlier than we expected, but because the run was only sort of 7 weeks, Shah, I'm a bit punch drunk from it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it feels a bit odd that I've got not. I don't mean this in a good way either. It feels a bit odd that I'm not watching it. Oh, I didn't watch it. Well, what are you laughing at?
I'm just laughing at your response time to Dan's question. It's like,
Oh, so I'm just like, I'm sorry. I know it's really been a
That's
bad
all right.
connection day today. I'm not quite sure why. Sorry,
It's
I'm
okay.
I'm not. There's a huge satellite delay, more than usual.
It's your own fault.
even when
It's your own
connection is
fault for going
fine.
to Barbados.
yeah.
These things happen. Go on. Yes. So you're
Totally
finding it
good.
strange as you're finding it strange as well. So 7-8 weeks of discussion, rolling with those punches, the kisses, enormous dogs, the honeys, and more punches. Really, it was a 2.5-year wait for that season of Doctor Who, and now all new Doctor Who has left our screens for now. Last weekend, regardless of how we each felt about it, we have, I think, immediately noticed its absence from the schedules and from the discourse, aside from a couple of former doctors sort of making the headlines for various reasons. Doctor Who has dematerialised itself. So the simple question that we put out to you there, our companions who follow Type 40, members of our community there across Facebook, X, and here on YouTube, of course, was mainly sort of, what are you doing now? What are you watching instead of? How are you nulling the pain? And more importantly, now it's all over, what questions and queries are playing on your mind until we next see it, if you are going to be there. So we invited you to get it off your chest, and we've had a deluge of replies, witticisms, questions, and everything in between. So we're going to be dipping into them right now here at Type 40 Live, and you can join into, of course you can, with your views about their views. I mean, the thing is, John, we don't want our entire lives to revolve around Doctor Who, do we?
Speak for yourself, mate. That last shot, that photo you did, was that a camera or was that a lawnmower going over?
No, so it's a tracks, it's camera on. Those things. Well, it's not on tracks. It's just a dolly, basically, that they push a camera on. So.
Oh, because for a second I thought they'd shredded Beep the Meep in the studio.
Yeah, they use a lot of strange things on set when it comes to cameras and stuff. So technology.
And you know what it all does, don't you, Ian? Every single bit of kit.
Yeah, most of them. Yeah, most of them. Yep.
I did wonder. I suspect that could be some of the fake. I think that could be some of the fake snow there that was fluttering past Millie in several episodes of that season. It was an interesting season to say the least. I think that it didn't go places where people wanted it to, thought it would or should, and did go in various other directions. But it does leave one feeling a little bit punch drunk and trying to make sense of it, really. So we do have some comments here, such as this one from our friend there, Chiggy. And Chiggy says he watched, I'm assuming your gender, Chiggy, but Chiggy118 said, I watched 20 minutes of Space Babies, that was episode 1, of course, and turned off, vowing never to watch again until the entire cast and production crew replaced. So I've been reevaluating Sylvester McCoy on rewatches, as I couldn't stomach any of his productions, but now he's growing on me. So Chiggy's experience is similar to yours, really, Ian.
Yeah, it is. I mean, no disrespect to McCoy. He's accomplished actor, if you can call him an actor. But as I said, when I watched those 2 particular episodes, I thought, you could see the Doctor in him. And in fact, when he first started, he was awful, in my opinion. The very first episode, I thought, what is this, Panto? But then obviously he got into his stride, and it is what it is at the end of the day. I'm still not a fan of his version of the Doctor, because I thought he took the Doctor in a direction that I didn't like. But I didn't give up on the Doctor Who, though. Even when it had the hiatus, I still came back to the Doctor,
Yeah.
So there you go.
What interests me about this, John, is that in Chiggy's case here, Chiggy, I have to say these names with a straight face. In Chiggy's case, what Chiggy hasn't done, they haven't gone back to their very, very favourite stories to sort of wash the taste from their mouths. They've actually gone back to a time in the series which they weren't initially fond of, in the hope that, of unearthing something that they had never previously seen or previously appreciated.
Yeah.
People think that Doctor Who fans are a really negative bunch, but it would appear that this is quite an optimistic thing to do, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good. And, you know, I see it a lot, and I never subscribe to it, where people say, oh, if you don't like the current era of Doctor Who, you hate Doctor Who and you're horrible, blah, blah, blah. Because just because you hate one era of Doctor Who doesn't mean you can't love another era of Doctor Who. You know, that seventh Doctor era, that was peak my childhood, and I loved it, you know, and I agree with what Ian said. It started off clown-like, but I think when you get into Remembrance of the Daleks and things like that, and he's very calculating and he's trying to be 2-3 steps ahead, I really liked what they were doing there. I think they went over the top at certain points, but I love people are looking back at eras of Doctor Who now and going, do you know what? I've talked to so many people lately, and they've actually said to me they've never watched classic Doctor Who, but they're now watching classic Doctor Who and they're really enjoying the stories. So that just makes me smile, because when I'm in the dirt, in the ground, there's going to be a whole new generation still enjoying that era of Doctor Who.
Gary Akers says McCoy's Cosmic Chess Master was the perfect choice to carry the New Adventures novels through the 90s. I bought most of those. I think I only read the first 10. I couldn't hold the course with that. For me, that wasn't Doctor Who. Too much sex and violence and swearing and all those things.
Yeah. Swearing?
Oh yeah, they were pretty. Really? They were very full on.
Wow.
Yeah, the Doctor was taking
getting it on. Yeah.
Ace was proper slamming it down. Every week she was jumping all over some. She was jumping on some dude every single book, and the Doctor was taking all manner of hallucinogenic substances. Yeah. So, in my view, it simply wasn't Doctor Who. But I think a lot of people had a lot of fun with it, and that's fine. But the same principle.
We never got.
But the same principle does seem to universally apply. We had this one from James Welsh too. I mean, this bemuses me, but I've tried to be generous here, because James is a member of our community there on the Facebook group, and he says, I know I'll get a lot of laughter at my expense for this, but my wife and I are going to rewatch Jodie's second season again, as on a rewatch of the first season we enjoyed it way more than we did the first time. Well, when you say way more, that's the qualifier. If you didn't enjoy it at all, how much is way more, James? This is another prime example. There are people who may go back even to this, the very nadir of all Doctor Who. But it's just, in all honesty, Shaw, it is exactly the same thing in principle as the McCoy one, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And if there's anything that's going to be good about this, I'm glad. That bloody dog. I'm really glad that it's sorry, she's barking again. I'm glad that you can go back and revisit these things, and especially if you've never watched it, that's great. What a great way to experience something you haven't watched yet. I'm gonna have to let her in a minute. I'm still making my way through Classic, and I'm enjoying every second. I'll be right back. Right. If this dog wants to come in, she can come in, but I'm going to guarantee it's going to be absolute carnage.
She could be as big a hit as Lenny is, couldn't she? Yeah. Let's see. Carol says it's absolutely fine. We've got several comments in the live chat here. Nathan Huggins says McCoy grew into the part. It's far better than anything we have at the moment. I would agree with that, and I do like Ncuti Gatwa in some respects. Paul Richards says that Jodie was written more like the Doctor than Gatwa. I'll say that for her run. Don't agree with that at all. Can't see that at all.
You know what? I have heard from a lot of people as well that said similar. They've gone back and they're enjoying the Jodie era more, and it's not because of Jodie. It's because there were more monsters in the Jodie era than there are in the new RTD series, and they want monsters. So, that surprised me as well. But yeah, I've heard that from a few people.
Just goes to show state of Doctor Who as it stands now, doesn't it? That people are willing to go back to eras that they didn't find interesting in the first place. So, I mean, just goes to show how much they've wrecked Doctor Who. And let's just not mince words here. They've literally destroyed Doctor Who. There's nothing left of what Doctor Who should be at the moment, obviously in my opinion. A lot of people disagree. But I'm not going to go back until all of this is gone. All of the agenda, the stupid people that are driving Doctor Who now. I just want people that like Doctor Who, that's good showrunners. I want good stories. I want a good Doctor. I don't believe Ncuti's right for the Doctor. I just want Doctor Who back, but doesn't look like we're going to get it for a long time. So yeah.
We are now, how many episodes in? 13, 14 episodes into all new Doctor Who with both David Tennant and then Ncuti Gatwa. We've had quite a lot of Doctor Who in 7 or 8 months. It's a good time to sit back and digest it. And maybe if I'm going to suggest that perhaps go back to some, if not all of it, and take a second look at that as well, because there's obviously an extended period of time before Ncuti's back on screen again. Perhaps there could be something there to see that you didn't notice the first time, or see in him, because it has been a really, really heady time. We've got this comment as well from Gary Finney's there, long-time supporter and friend of Type 40, who says, this was the first full series I've watched from start to finish since Capaldi left. But on the watch list is The Celestial Toymaker, the new animation on Blu-ray. Plus, I'm currently watching the original TV series of Lost in Space on Blu-ray.
Excellent.
So right back to the 60s there, right back to the 60s for Gary. And a lot of people, obviously, this was released last week, I think, the Celestial Toymaker animation. So a lot of people have got this and are looking at it. And I won't say washing the last season down with it, but it's nice that there's something kind of new for people to unwrap so soon after the season, I suppose, Shah.
Yeah, no, I even if it wasn't, can you get out of there? Even if it wasn't new, sorry, I told you it was going to be Carnage, it just came in.
It's fine.
Then I think it's still great to just rediscover things. I mean, I've been rewatching Doctor Who as well. I've been going back to sort of Matt Smith, and just ones that I know are going to make me happy and know that Doctor Who's alive. Yeah, this is a beauty. Even if you don't like this era, and I'm sad that people don't. I'm sad that I don't particularly, but it means that you've still got 50 years to watch. It's never. Thank you very much, Stephen. She's a bloody pain in my side, but she'll do. Yeah, you've still got 50 years to enjoy what you love about Doctor Who. It's great.
But that is true. But again, it'd be nice to see a new iteration of the Doctor and done properly. And I mean, it's been proven that it doesn't matter how much money you chuck at it. Doctor Who's a lot of money chucked at this season. There's a lot of money chucked at it. If you can't write a decent script, or if you can't have decent actors that can pull off the performance, then it means nothing. All these special effects and the great sets mean nothing. So yeah, it's really weird because Classic had no money, and the majority of them had decent stories and great people to play the Doctor. This is the opposite. Crap load of money, and the other side just doesn't work. So, but anyway.
Another thing I think we need to get back to as well, and I hope that day comes sooner rather than later, is, writers from different sides of the aisle collaborating together, because that's where you get creative tension. That's where you come up with great ideas, because you might not 100% agree on something, but you come up with something that's a banger from both sides coming up with that idea. Where at the moment it's one side only, and it just feels lopsided. You need to balance it up, and I hope common sense prevails and we get back to that, because that's why Doctor Who was great, because all walks of life writers came in and wrote for it. So let's get back to that.
Yeah.
Peter Harrington asks, is the Celestial Toymaker DVD Steelbook out now? Yes, it is, Peter. You can still get it. It's still up on Amazon. It hasn't sold out at all. There's the Steelbook, the standard Blu-ray edition as well. So there's that as well. I mean, there is the case too that even though we have been watching it and commenting about it, most of us, apart from Ian, have been watching all new Doctor Who every week. The hope in the new way that they've been delivering this, with its premiere on the iPlayer in Britain in particular, but internationally with Disney Plus as well, the hope is that it will evolve and that it will work and it will function and it will find an audience gradually over a longer period of time as well, in the way that streaming shows do tend to nowadays, so people can watch it at their own pace. I'm not suggesting that's going to turn things around, revolutionize these viewing figures, which have been undoubtedly pretty awful. I was going to swear there, but been pretty awful. It's not going to make that much of a difference. Of course it isn't. But I do believe that, yes, of course things are changing. Habits are changing. And we had these two comments here from Bob Furnell and Bonnie Jean Gale. Both of them said similar things. So Bob said, I'm actually watching the final 2 episodes as we speak. So this was over this weekend just gone. So Bob had just taken his time to watch them when suited him. And Bonnie says, I have not seen most of the series yet. So Bonnie is working her way through it as well. For whatever reason, maybe the work pattern, because not everybody works 9 to 5, not everybody works Monday to Friday anymore. So people just watch these things when they want to. And, you know, I think generally speaking, yeah, there are people in our lives who enjoy spoiling these shows for us. But most people, if you say no spoilers, most people will button it, won't they, Shar? I think most people will take the hint.
I'd like to think so. Nothing got spoiled for me, though. I didn't even know, like I said, I didn't even know who Sutek was. Nothing got spoiled because of someone else. So I was absolutely fine by that. I think people are starting to learn a bit more that actually you're a bit of a dick if you're the one who spoils it. So I think it's changing that way.
Well, the thing is, if somebody spoils a show for us, John, then if somebody spoils a show for one of us, quite often we find that the shoe can be on the other foot pretty quickly, and we've watched a show that they haven't, and we can say, remember when you spoiled Lovejoy for me? I'm gonna spoil Hetty Wainthropp for you. That's that's how petty that you can have a bit of fun with that. But in all sincerity, you know, I don't think nobody will spoil anything for me twice. Let's put it that way.
Well, I'm not ever going to try to again after you threatened to come and attack me after I tried to spoil you last time, mate. I'm keeping well away.
I didn't have you down as a violent man, Dan.
Yes.
Well, there you go. Just goes to show, doesn't it? There are many sides, even to me. Let us know what else you're watching. We've got somebody who says, hello, new here. That's Noodle Arms. Hello. Noodle Arms there in the live chat watching on YouTube. Welcome to Type 40 Live. Noodle Arms, get stuck in and let us know what you think about all this nonsense that we've been spouting. Yeah, please do. We've got several other comments as well. Of course we have. Some people, yes, you've got the people who are slightly behind, but there are others who've watched it at the same pace that we have, and they feel slightly differently. They're not even going and watching other Doctor Who. There's people like Cinnamon Toast Crunch who says, I'll be detoxing as now the party's over. It's a good time to step back for a while, as being a Doctor Who fan can be hard work. I think it's healthy to get away from it every now and then and delve into other hobbies and interests. So I'll be gaming a lot and watching Star Wars. So he's going to escape the Whoniverse altogether. I don't think he's been driven out. It doesn't sound like it. It just sounds like, okay, now I've done this, everything in moderation. I'll go off and I'll watch that instead. I'll catch up with Star Wars. I suppose I do that to some extent as well. Thank you for the comment, CTC. But
he can't escape us. We will find him. You know, what he tried, we will track
watching Star Wars. Does watching Star Wars count as being a traitor to Doctor Who fandom, though, Ian? Watching Star Wars or Star Trek?
It's Star Trek, isn't it? Star Trek versus Star Wars. It's never Doctor Who versus Star Trek or Star Wars, is it? It's always those two, star, isn't it? So, you know, that they always have fights, don't they? In fact, they have them in the movies as well, where, you know, a Star Trek fan has a fight with a Star Wars fan. So, you know,
did they?
Yeah, like what movie was that? Free Enterprise. Was it a film called Free Enterprise?
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, that's Rob's film, isn't it?
When the little what's his name, William Shatner says to the little boy, "Oh, you like Star Wars?" He says, "I'm going to beat the crap out of him." It's that kind of thing. So, yeah, it's always been Star Wars versus Star Trek, hasn't it? Always. Doctor Who's never been in that camp, has it? As far as I know. I don't know about you guys.
Well, they call it the Big Three.
I think Doctor Who is still seen
as the other. Doctor Who is still seen as the other one of the Big Three with Star Wars and Star Trek.
Only recently, only recently because of
it's been for a long time, very long time, 25 years.
As someone who was quite late into watching Star Wars, it's to me there was quite a big parallel in terms of it sort of seems like it inspired Doctor Who in a kind of
Well,
way.
this
I can see
did.
some
This version did. According to Fossil
well, it
Teens.
just well, I don't mean that. I mean just in general, you can sort of see
Yeah.
the parallels, except that Doctor Who had a shoestring budget, whereas Star Wars didn't. That was the only
Well, no,
thing.
well,
But even
Yeah.
still, I can still see
To be
parallels.
honest, the first Star Wars had a shoestring budget. It was only 20 million or something.
Yeah,
just like
you
the
can
first
tell.
one, yeah.
Is that it?
I remember
Nothing
Tom
really.
Baker. I remember Tom Baker. I think it was Tom Baker or someone in the production team said that they all went off to watch Star Wars for the first time at the cinema, and
Yeah.
they walked out of it and they were like, "Oh bloody hell!" You know, look at the effects in this. You know, what are we going to do to try and compete with that? You know, and they knew
Yeah.
they couldn't.
I think
Yeah.
I think Doctor Who. When I was growing up, Doctor Who was always compared to Red Dwarf. When I was growing up, it was never compared to
Oh.
Star Wars or Star Trek, because Red Dwarf is very similar. As BBC has the very similar the way they shoot, but Red Dwarf got better.
Well, Red Dwarf kind of took over from Doctor
yeah, it
Who
did a
in this
bit,
country.
yeah.
It became it was the
Really?
natural kind of successor to
Yeah, it
Doctor
was.
Who. Really, yeah. Obviously, Red Dwarf started in '88, just
Yeah.
as Doctor Who was winding down. Continued, for 10 years, really, to be at the and Red Dwarf's Shah was phenomenally popular
Yes,
between
it was.
1989
I'm sure.
and 90. I'd say around 96, 97, maybe. It was very, very popular for the best part of a decade, and then kind of petered out the way that these things tend to.
You
But
know
it kept
what?
sci-fi on screen, at least in
Yeah.
Britain.
Do you know what? Right, Red Dwarf was one of those shows that it was very, very rare today now, where you laugh out loud and you're holding your stomach. It was that funny.
Yeah.
Some of the
Oh,
episodes
I'll
were
have to go and
genius.
discover it.
Oh,
I
have
mean,
you not seen? Have you
I
not
think
seen
you'd
Red
enjoy
Dwarf?
it.
The Vindaloo
I've
one.
heard
It was
of it.
amazing. Red Dwarf. Don't watch the first season. The first season's a bit.
No, don't
crap.
listen to him. Watch the
No,
first
first
season.
season's
Come and
crap.
watch it with. Come and
First
watch it
season's
with us.
rubbish.
We'll do a show about
watch
it.
Season 2,
Back-
season 3,
Backwards is
season
great.
Backwards is brilliant.
Yeah,
And watch season 4.
Okay.
You'd laugh. I tell you, it's so funny. And those
just,
characters are amazing.
just if you don't laugh at Ace Rimmer,
Oh yeah,
you're
yeah,
never
yeah,
gonna laugh,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
Well, you guys know my sort of humour, so if
You'll
you
love
guys
it.
say it's good, then
Right up
I'll
your street,
give
right up
it
your
a try.
street, Shah.
Yeah.
You-
Oh, wicked.
See,
Okay.
I mean, I know that when you laugh at my jokes, you're just being nice. But with these ones, with these ones, they're actually funny. David Mullen in the live chat says, "If this season going to wow anyone on streaming with that payoff, especially?" Well, no, it ends. There's no getting around the fact it ends on a damp squib. But the fact that it's there, that it's sitting there, and obviously the publicity hasn't been great, because I think it will get around that it didn't end well. But people have a short memory when it comes to these things. There's so much going on all the time. New shows and movies are premiering literally weekly. So if somebody's added this to their playlist or whatever, I think I'll get round to that. I think people will gradually they'll either forget, or there's a great many people don't care about reviews, whether they're reviews from the likes of us, from the likes of you, or from the likes of the people who write even on websites. They don't care about either of us or them, and they just want to find it in their own time. I think that's one of the blessings of the streaming age. In fact, we were talking about Star Wars a moment ago. There's no accounting for taste. Whilst Doctor Who is off, our friend here, Brett Bundy, is watching Ahsoka. Was that the latest Star Wars show? There could have been one since then.
Acolyte,
No, it's Acolyte. The latest one's Acolyte. This Acolyte and this is absolute bollocks.
Yeah.
Basically, they're both
Oh,
bollocks.
God,
So
I agree.
I
Yeah,
haven't
good
watched
luck.
anything since Andor. In all fairness, I like the Mandalorian, but I kind of switched off after all of that, and didn't really go back to anything like that. And it's only Doctor Who that I've been watching.
the only good sci-fi that's come out recently is was it Fallout?
Yeah.
I liked Fallout.
Yeah, we'll come to that
I've
in a
heard that's
moment.
Oh,
What is this Stars War? Asks Robert Payne. That's the
no
kind of answer
idea.
that we like. You see, and it's one thing to work your way through the list of shows that may have premiered in the last year that you never got round to because your view time has been freed up with the absence of Doctor Who. But we had this comment as well from Robin Freeman, who says he's watching Dixon of Doc Green. Didn't that finish in 1974? Something like that. This one threw me.
I've seen a couple of episodes of Dixon the Doc Green. You know what? It's very well written and very well
available.
Yeah. I saw a couple of episodes. I think there was one. They pulled it off. Sorry, they pulled it down.
Nice recovery.
YouTube. And in fact, I was watching a bit of Men in Black 3. They got the whole film on YouTube, which is ridiculous. I'm like, what the
I
hell?
love Men in Black.
There's loads of films on YouTube now that I think every company's turning a blind eye to it now. So
there's some vintage TV as well, things like Dixon of Dock Green that do turn up on YouTube. Sadly, a lot of the writers of shows of that vintage. I think this show ran from maybe the mid to late 50s all the way into the early 70s, a long-running police show on British TV. And I can see there are probably lots of episodes still in existence, or enough to give Robin a good time by the sounds of things.
You know what's interesting about this Dixon of Dock Green? It was based on a movie, right? And the guy that plays Dixon of Dock Green, I don't even know his name, in the movie gets killed. So,
okay.
They have the series and he's alive again. I was like, what? So there you go.
Is it called The Blue Lamp, the movie of Dixon of Dock Green? I thought so. I thought so. Yes, so that was the biggest surprise that I had scrolling through these answers. But there were some of the kind of shows that you would expect Doctor Who's punters to go running straight back to, and including these four. So we had Neil Pugh. He got in touch. Neil Pugh got in touch to tell us that he was watching Blake 7. Paul Hillam said he was going back to Space 1999, a show from the mid-70s. Gaza P, he's been watching Primeval again. The show from the mid-noughties, ran for about 4 seasons, lots of fun. And Titular Hero has gone back to The Expanse. That's a big show, originally on the Sci-Fi Channel, then on Amazon. I've tried to watch The Expanse a couple of times. I always stop after about 7 or 8 episodes. My God, it's intense and depressing. I'm determined to go back to it. But these are shows that have considerable followings for one reason or another. Even Primeval. This is the kind of thing you'd expect Doctor Who fans to go back to or to watch for the first time during the off period, though, isn't it, Shah?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. I remember I think it was in between, must have been Eccleston and Tennant, or maybe Tennant first series 1 to his first 2 series, in between them. I think that's when Primeval came out, and I remember loving it because that was my still a little bit of sci-fi in with dinosaurs. It was awesome. But then my an ex of mine at the time, actually, when it was in between Doctor Who, he loved Stargate. And that was his thing. So it's quite funny how you have your own little thing that you go to in between these moments.
Primeval was
interesting.
Created to be up against Doctor Who, because nobody could beat Doctor Who, no matter how cheap Doctor Who was. Anytime they try to make a show that will, defeat Doctor Who always came up at the top. There's something about Doctor Who that people really, really, really like, and even though they fall out of love with it, they always seem to come back to it. Primeval was a good show when it started, then it branched off into something that was totally unrecognizable, and then people lost faith into it.
ITV mismanaged it and bent it all out of shape. They never had any patience with it. They never do with their cult shows.
And Space 1999. Tell you the truth, I've been watching that recently because the every episode's on YouTube in spanking great, HD, wonderful versions of it. It's on YouTube. Look it up on YouTube and you can watch every episode.
Season 1
it's playing live though, unfortunately. You can't start it from the beginning. It's literally playing live. So once you look
I see.
You have to carry on there.
So dark.
So
dark. I can't believe they put it out. Can't believe originally they put it out at like 7 o'clock in the evening. Scary bits, isn't there?
There's one episode I was watching where it was like a flashback, and this guy was on the ship, and this monster came on the ship and killed everyone.
I know that one.
Everyone with blood and stuff.
I've just started sleeping again.
It's crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Very, very colourful stuff and great memories from sci-fi past. I've seen all of those shows here and there. Never seen much of Space 1999 at all for the last 40 odd years. It was on when I was a really little kid. ITV, we would continue to repeat it, but it was always just that bit too old for me. But I have got them on Blu-ray. It's one of those things just in the pile. I've got a list and I've got a pile, and I'm working my way through both of them when I can from the margins. It's that's how it is, and it's the same with modern shows. Several people have mentioned this in the live chat. This is the one. I was talking about the principle that people will go back to Doctor Who over the next few months. Hopefully, maybe if word gets round, if people forget the disappointment, people will find it on the iPlayer and Disney Plus. That is clearly the hope. That does work as a strategy, that model, and leaving them on the streaming platforms, because now Doctor Who's off, I'm going to make time for Fallout. We've had several people suggest this in the live chat already, and I have every intention of watching this based on the same principle. Just simply didn't have time when it was premiering. Now I have the time, Ian.
Yeah, it's a good show. I'm not going to give anything away, but I didn't like the climax. But I thought I really warmed to all the characters, especially the girl. I thought she was going to be a Mary Sue, but she didn't. She ended up learning and falling and getting up and stuff. And so yeah, I thought it was really entertaining. I watched the first 2 episodes. It was really late going into the morning, and I thought, let me watch one more episode. And I ended up watching all 4 episodes before I went to bed, which was 4 o'clock in the morning. So that's how good I thought it was. Very entertaining Fallout. A lot of people didn't like it.
It's great,
a lot of people didn't like it. I thought it was quite good.
I've watched the first episode so far, and I've enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It's is it Jonathan Nolan that did this one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's worth your time if you. Well, it's just my opinion. Again, you could watch it and you think it's you might think it's crap, but I thought it was very entertaining personally. But I recommend it, Dan. Watch Fallout.
It's been a major hit, and I gather that it's coming back for a second season. So yeah, I'd rather, I'm going to watch this and let that live with me for a little while, and if I like it, I'll be there from the beginning of the second season. That's how it'll work when I heard about The Expanse, when that was originally on, which I'm trying to remember when that was, probably about 6 or 7 years ago, maybe before that. I didn't get on that at the start. By the time I decided I was going to watch it, there was 4 seasons to get into, people telling me how brilliant it was, and it just never charmed me. Well, this does look like something this looks kind of quirky and quite colourful. I think I'd probably like this, so I'm definitely going to go for that. Is there anything that you've been meaning to watch, Shah, that you've got your eye on that's in the playlist? You think, now I've got time?
Oh, God, so much. I don't even know where to begin. So much. I even got to the point where I was like, you know what, I'm going to cancel Netflix because there's so much on there that I want to watch and I'm just never going to get around to. I know I've got Baby Reindeer to watch. There's something else sci-fi. There was something else sci-fi.
That'll upset you. Baby Reindeer will upset you. It upset me when I was watching it. Yeah.
I don't.
Horrible things happening there. Anyway, but I did watch it a bit though.
Yeah, there's loads. There's loads, and now I've got bloody what's it called, Red Dwarf that I've got to put on my list.
Yes, Red Dwarf.
We're going to have to do a Red Dwarf show. Adrian James says I have UFO on DVD.
Yeah, I never did get into that show. Never did.
Yeah, I'm halfway through that at the moment myself. A surprising one here as well from David Roberts. He's rewatching season 12 of Classic Who, but he's also just started watching RoboCop the series on Blu-ray. So this was the show from the mid-90s, 93, 94. Once the movie trilogy had kind of run out of steam, they put it on TV, and they made this sort of family TV show, didn't they? I'm surprised it's out on Blu-ray, but I like the fact that obscure stuff's out on Blu-ray as well. And season 12 of Classic Doctor Who, it's got to be a lot of people's favourites, isn't it?
RoboCop, the TV show, was awful. I watched it. Episodes, that was enough for me. I was like, why? Why did they make this?
They did the cartoon as well at the same time.
They did the cartoon, yeah. They did.
Yeah,
I think the cartoon was called RoboCop Prime Directives, something like that. So the RoboCop, which started out as this Certificate 18.
Yes.
Gritty, gory movie, hard sci-fi. Less than 10 years later, there's an animated kids show and this really weird, so very pantomime-esque TV show. I think the TV show is a lot of fun, but it's not something. Let's put it this way: I wouldn't buy the Blu-ray, but David, I hope you have a lot of fun with it. Classic Doctor Who, though, obviously it's going to be where a lot of people go back to, including Darren, who said, Classic Who, as I do every Saturday. So he's watching Classic Doctor Who every Saturday evening, whether new Doctor Who's on or not. Dario Blue is also watching Ark in Space from season 12. Watched it last night. The Sontaran Experiment tonight, so working their way through. And Stephen Elmy says, I've been slowly rewatching season 12 again as well. So for everybody that's discovering something new or hoping to see something in the things they didn't like before, like McCoy or Whittaker, we have got a good a good body of people who are clearly just going right back to the absolute gold. You can't really go wrong with early or mid Tom Baker, really. Actually, late Tom, you just can't go wrong with Tom Baker, Sean. There's so much of it.
There is so much of it. I've always said Tom Baker is an alien from Gallifrey. Like, I believe that all day long. So for that reason alone, I love Tom Baker. I'm just really enjoying Pertwee at the minute. Because I forgot that I missed 2 series of Tom Baker. Of Tom Baker, I'm doing it again. Of Pertwee. So it'd be nice to get that done in a way. It's just like I said, just so much to watch, so much to do that I'm making my way through it, and it's really good so far.
Domgo says classic season 13. So one up from that. That's the one that starts with Terror of the Zygons, isn't it, John? And goes all the way through the Seeds of Doom.
Yeah, it's another great.
I watched Seeds of Doom the other day.
Did you? Yeah, it's great.
Yeah,
it is great. And
did you do all 6 parts in one day, Sean?
I did, with my stepdad as well. Yeah, we spent a whole Sunday doing it. It's great. Didn't
it put you off your Sunday lunch though? You're not going to eat any greens after watching the
roast. Nothing puts me off a Sunday roast. You put anything in front of me, and I'll still eat that roast. So yeah, it's all good.
Even the sprouts after seeing the giant crinoid thing.
Especially after. So was my favourite thing to eat afterwards. No, it's fine, but it's quite funny. It's quite nice because my stepdad watched it and obviously had that sort of nostalgia feel, and he was like, and the whole time he was like, wait for this bit. This bit's really scary. Sure, you gotta watch this bit. And I'm literally watching it with you. I'm watching it with you. It's absolutely fine. It was it was a lot of fun. It was nice. It's just nice to see someone else who enjoys it when I've not seen it as well. It's almost like he's introducing me to something. Instead, it's quite nice.
Fly Highlands on season 13 too. Hey B says Tom Baker was great, my favourite Doctor, and K9 too. Big lovers of K9 here at Type 40. I've started rewatching Netflix Dark. Oh, that's a foreign language show. Is that the German show, like a horror series, Ian? And Mark Milford's also rewatching John Pertwee, just as you said, Sean.
Is that a Titanic one?
No, Dark is the I think it's a German show where it's about time travel as well. But they don't go far though. They go like 3 years back or something just like that. But I mean, it's okay. It was all right. I watched season 1 but I didn't carry on with the rest of the season. You can put the subtitles on, but I'm really crap at reading subtitles. I really am.
Me too. I don't want to read a film, thank you very much. I'm sure it's all very arty. And watching it in the original language is very noble and all that jazz, but I don't want to read a film. Thank you very much.
That's great.
That's my hard line on that. Lots of hard lines on entertainment, obviously, because it's very, very personal. Ian, for example, doesn't do audio drama, John. Cover your ears. Cover your ears. But lots of Doctor Who fans, thankfully, do. And so when we asked this question across social media, Big Finish did feature pretty heavily. A wealth of releases now for 25, 26 years, multiple ranges, pretty much every Doctor. You can take your pick with Big Finish, and I don't think you'll ever run out of things that you want to listen to, providing the audio Doctor Who does it for you. It certainly does it for Cliff Maxwell, and he says he's going back to original Who and maybe trying to get back into the original Big Finish stuff on audio. He's basically trying to come up with ways to erase the fiasco of the recent series from his brain. So going back to the audio stuff that he's heard before, because we are at a point now, John, where some of these audio stories are they've absolutely got the right to be labelled classics, just in the same way that the TV stories have, haven't they? Like 2 decades on.
Absolutely. And for me, Big Finish audio, if you haven't tried them before, start at the early era, because there's some absolute crackers in there. I generally, I'll go out for my lunch hour at work and I'll walk around listening to a Big Finish audio, and there's so many good ones. I mean, Spare Parts is a favourite of mine. Sirens of Time is the first one. Spectre of Lanyon Moor, Jubilee. there's so many more. So, if anyone's never tried it anymore and they're bored one day and they want to get a big list off me, just give me a message and I'll tell you what I love. But it is really good. It's Doctor Who from like the era's carried on, really, for me.
Knock yourself out with Big Finish. Retro.Gary Akers says if I want to read a book, I'll go to the library, not the theatre. That's exactly how I look at it. Mark Bice, sorry, Michael. Bloody hell, I got both names wrong. Michael Bice. Got there in the end. Michael says, I started watching The Twilight Zone again. Never a bad idea. Paul Richards is into Quatermass, Blake 7, Sapphire and Steel and The Prisoner. Some of my favourite shows there. The writing is superior to modern stuff. Yeah, I think for the most part you're right. And Thistle Beaks says, just rewatched episode 1 of Flux with a friend, and wow, we thought it was better written than Space Babies. You're insane, quite frankly, but you do you. Nice to have you in the live chat there,
I don't know about that, Dan.
Flux was friggin' awful. Save the cheerleader.
No comment.
Save the cheerleader, says Melanie Weston investigates. That's never a bad idea either. Heroes, of course, a great sci-fi show in its day, as was Star Trek The Next Generation. Andrew G. Dick got in touch and said, Doctor Who-wise, I will carry on with Big Finish, just as we were just saying. But he's also rewatching a lot of the old stuff these days. Been going through The Next Generation, which I'm loving. It's well made and not dated. And also teaming up TNG, Ian, with The Sweeney. So Andrew says, also watching The Sweeney, one of the best cop dramas ever. And it reminds me of how much more gritty 70 shows often were. So 70 shows were very gritty. 80 shows I just think 80s shows were generally more roundly entertaining, including The Next Generation. And that is something we've definitely lost in the modern age. And despite the fact that the current cast of Doctor Who do a lot of running around and laughing, I sort of think it's true with that as well. I think sometimes it comes across as being not genuine. Let's put it, that's the polite way of putting it. Laboured.
Well, you have people that are they script writers that know what they're doing, and today's I was told that the people that wrote God, what episode is that one with Ncuti when he goes back to Bridgerton era? I heard that the two people
Rogue
had never written anything ever.
Not even writers. One's a director and one is from the costume department.
There you go.
Not a writing credit to their name. Work that out.
Yeah.
High level show, I'll never get my head around that. Insanity. I feel that, John, a lot of the time we're served now in the attention economy, if you like, so many shows, and a lot of them trying to harken back to previous successes. TNG was massively popular and deservedly so, but that wasn't an overnight success either. But I think when we see shows that are trying to ape its formula now, or superhero shows and things like that, it's as if they're doing it very, very self-consciously. They're trying to recreate something rather than be something that is for now. TNG was for then, into the mid-90s. Same with The Sweeney. It was very much of its time. And you could say that Life on Mars traded on that, but it was part parody, wasn't it? But if you try and force something like that, it never really works, does it? I think you're better off just writing the best stuff you possibly can and hoping it'll speak to people.
Yeah, and classic example is Star Trek, because they've tried to effectively badge on their own views and go, well, we're going to do it this way like they used to do it, and it's never as good. I mean, Next Generation, I would say up to Enterprise is where I finish, really. I enjoyed that, but where he said there about Next Generation is brilliant. There's some really good episodes in there that I highly recommend. Drumhead, if anyone needs to see that, or Measure of a Man. Yeah,
masterpieces. Yeah, no question about it.
And Deep Space Nine as well. If no one's seen Deep Space Nine yet, watch that, because
my favourite Star Trek show.
Phenomenal. Just becomes a war movie, doesn't it? After a while, it's so good.
Towards the end.
Yeah.
The Overseer says Big Finish used to make amazing audios. It's such a shame how woke and lazy they've become. Harsh over the Overseer, but this is something that a lot of people, I find I have to cherry pick with their ranges now, whereas the first, heaven knows how many years, you could never really lose with Big Finish. So I think perhaps it's become a little bit too diluted, and they have undoubtedly had to bow to those editorial mandates. Likely, I don't know this for certain, but likely from BBC Enterprises, BBC Studios, I would guess.
And I would say to anybody, the excitement I got at the time when they announced that Paul McGann was coming in to do the Eighth Doctor run.
Me too.
I never really get that disappointed with an Eighth Doctor story. I really love the Eighth Doctor audio.
He needs his own show.
He does.
He needs his own show. He does.
If it was any other time, any other era, I'd be buzzing for an Eighth Doctor show.
I saw him recently, and where was that? Where was that? The last thing when it had Chris Eccleston on, Dan?
Yeah, that was at a convention last week up in Liverpool, I think. Yeah,
and he looked great. Paul McGann,
he's fantastic.
He doesn't look
that old.
He looks great. So we could still do a series, a spin-off series with him.
Squibs says Big Finish is the real continuation of Doctor Who, in my opinion. And lots of people in the chat there are naming their favourite Big Finish stories, Shah. So if you've got a pen and paper to hand, as well as the one you've got for series, you might need to make one here for Big Finish. Like Peter Harrington, who suggests Dalek War, Dalek Empire, Unbound, Gallifrey, all fabulous stuff. Spin-offs that on paper think there's no way that's going to work are absolutely incredible. And obviously the late, great David Warner also got to play the Doctor only on audio. He's incredible in that role. So, get on that. Says Lord Thought. That's very furtive there. What does that mean? Yeah.
Just eating a cake or something. What's going on?
I suspect we'll never know. He'll keep that one to himself. And people continuing to name their favourite audio dramas and other sci-fi shows. Yeah, keep giving us those referrals. Odds are we've probably seen them, but it doesn't hurt to see them again, does it? And you can get reminded of stuff that you loved before, and you make a note that if you've got the time, you'd like to revisit it. I'm watching a lot of vintage TV at the moment and having a blast with it. So is Deep Thought 42, and this is a longer comment from them, who said, "I'm watching Stargate and the odd new Who, but I can't legally stream classic Who in Australia since they unnecessarily removed it from BritBox at the end of March 2023. As for my thoughts on the season, a big disappointment. Episode 7 was the only one that engaged me to some extent all the way through. I actually rewatched it without getting bored and stopping or falling asleep. Up until the end of Capaldi's era, I could and did rewatch just about every episode and really enjoy all of them." So, classic Doctor Who, generally speaking, is more accessible than ever. It's a pity that some territories, it does seem to be falling through the cracks here and there, John. Feel sorry for Deep Thought here.
Yeah, and is this because of the Disney deal that it was taken off BritBox in Australia?
It seems so.
Yeah, which is, we talked about it a while back, didn't we? And we thought, this could happen. And it's such a shame for people in that country where they've had it, on their channel since, probably just after it aired in the UK. Yeah,
it was the mid-60s on the ABC.
So you got to do whatever you can to find it. Don't let them win. Track it down.
I would hope that sooner rather than later, Shark, because everything did change last year. You have to hope that for people like Deep Thought 42 here, who's left us this comment, that they'll iron out some of these wrinkles, because the idea that somebody gets left behind, a whole continent of people can kind of get left behind, whether it's with the new stuff or the classic stuff, it shouldn't be that way, should it really?
No, and they're always talking about how Doctor Who's for everyone, and they want to branch out to all these different countries and continents.
Not
and
anymore.
It will always be British culture in my mind, but I still think that if you put the it's the wrong word, but if you want to branch out to all these countries, make everything accessible to them, not just a cherry picked few episodes of Doctor Who. BritBox I always thought was rubbish anyway, but it was the thing that got me into classic. And we're really lucky to have it on iPlayer. I think that if you've got any sort of BBC, I think if you've got BBC anywhere, then you should have iPlayer too, and it should always be the same.
Yeah, but, some people iPlayer, but you can also sail the seven seas. Wanted to, just saying.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think personally that North America is where they're focusing on.
They are. Yeah,
but it's purely
definitely.
North America. And sadly, we were talking about a few minutes ago, these people are getting left behind because of that, because they want the viewers on that continent. Yeah.
I don't think they're concerned
They
about
got
the
it.
UK either, John. I don't think
Yeah.
they're concerned about the UK. But they're more or less trying to hit the big one in it, which is North America. Yeah.
Sorry, Shah, you say they got it?
That they had that viewing in Matt Smith's era.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
This
Yeah.
But this isn't like a new thing that they're trying to branch into. That's what I mean. If you're gonna say, "Oh yeah, we want to make it accessible for the world," make it accessible for the world. That's all I'm saying. But yeah,
But
VPN and iPlayer, but I didn't say that.
But it starts off the cast and the stories and stuff like that. They've got to be accessible to the world. If you're writing for a small majority of people, it ain't going to be accessible, no matter how.
I'm not talking about that.
That kind of thing.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about classic. I'm talking about if you should have the same access as we get.
How to market classic Doctor Who? Yeah, it should be universal.
You can go to India, or you can sail the seven seas. That's it. If you wanna watch them, you can do that if you want. So I don't know.
Obviously, we recommend here at Type 40 that you legally obtain copies of every episode of classic Doctor Who. Of course, we do.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
As regards British culture, it does move on. It moves on pretty quickly, particularly at this time of the year, because the general public's their attention has been taken undoubtedly by the very thing that filled the schedule on Saturday, where Doctor Who was on BBC One. I don't know. I'm not really sure what any of this is all about. Apparently, it's the European football for 2024 taking place in Germany at the moment. It's all kicking off quite literally there in Germany, and people are glued to this. England, they're doing better than usual. I'm led to believe they're doing sort of okay somehow, and that's great. But strangely, this is that's fine if you watch it. I never understood football, but I do. I understand fans like this even less. I'm a traditional geek, so I don't watch football. But Anthony Schutt does, and he says Switzerland versus Italy in the Euros on BBC in the Who slot. It's going to be getting more viewers. Football, particularly when it's a massive tournament like this, it gets massive viewer figures in Britain, doesn't it, Shah? It's very, very popular.
Yeah, it's England's national sport. Well, how would it not get more viewers? I almost don't know if you mean that as in like, wow, should we be surprised? I've been watching the football. I come from a family that love football. I've been watching it myself.
Did you watch yesterday's one?
I did, yeah. I did.
You know
my
what,
uncle and my brother were drunk. It was great.
When they scored, so I live in the council estate, and I don't watch football. I kind of despise football. My brothers watch it in the living room, and when they scored, right, not only did I hear my brother in the living room screaming, I heard the neighbours, or I could hear neighbours screaming around me. Do you know what I mean? So that's how very popular. Yeah.
There's a pub just at the end of my road. I live in a sort of cul-de-sac, John, and there's a nice big pub at the end of the road. You've seen it, Ian. And I heard the people in the pub. I was in my house watching whatever I was watching, and I heard the roar from the pub. So I knew we'd done something. Something must be okay. And sure enough, it was the England match.
I knew they'd scored because up the road they're watching an old terrestrial aerial, so they got the signal quicker.
Wow.
So they saw the goal. They shouted for goal before I'd even seen the goal go in the back of the net. So I was time traveling.
That is a spoiler. That's a spoiler. So yeah, that was Andrew. I was surprised to get Andrew's comment, but then Philip and Anthony and Mark also said the same thing. Football, footy. So clearly they're not the only ones by any stretch of the imagination. No. And have we got any in the live chat? Thistle Beaks says, I've never been able to get into footy. No. And Dongo says,
like it or you don't you?
Yeah, of course. Euro 2024 is the most boring thing that I've ever watched. But obviously I'm British, I'm English, and I want England to do well. Of course I do. In fact, I want Scotland and Wales and Ireland to do well in these things too. Of course I do. And Melanie Weston says, can we in the UK only get old Doctor Who now on iPlayer? On the Whoniverse app. Some of it is still on ITVX, I understand.
Oh, yes.
Because that is what BritBox kind of morphed into. So ITVX have some, including An Unearthly Child, which isn't on iPlayer. through Whoniverse. So get that while you can. I believe the deal with ITVX is up fairly soon because it's a hangover from the BritBox thing. So get it on there while you can. Failing that, yes, you can get it all on the Whoniverse hub. As if the football wasn't strange enough, some people are choosing to watch this instead. This has also been going on over the weekend. Glastonbury. Ian Wright was watching the Glastonbury coverage. Coldplay were headlining, I understand, again this time. I'm getting less interesting. Glastonbury as the years go on. Very, very corporate, and it's full of posh kids and sort of people of my age, really, pretending to rough it, but really spending 2 nights in a posh hotel up the road. So something of the phony about Glastonbury now. In the 90s, it absolutely was the place to be. But having said that, I do love Coldplay. At least I know who they are. Plenty of the acts this year, I had no idea who any of them were. But a lot of people do seem to have a lot of fun with Glastonbury still. Ian?
Yeah. I went once.
Did you?
Night. Yeah, a long time ago. We had to. It was before it became corporate. We climbed over the wall, and we got in. Basically, we didn't pay a penny. So there used to be this wooden wall and then people used to climb over it and then jump into the mud and run in there. They couldn't stop you. So there you go. But now I haven't been since then. So Happy Mondays was playing. I remember that.
Oh wow! That bit the early 90s.
Yeah,
I love Twisting My Melon, man. Yeah, I love the Happy Mondays too.
I couldn't think of anything worse than being in a muddy field and
it was fun
trying to find my tent when I've had a few.
Yeah, it was fun. But I got to admit,
John, I hate camping at the best of times. The idea that I'd be camping and I'd have to listen to Cyndi Lauper warble out "Girls just want to have fun" at the age of 80 is
Twain.
I'll pass.
I got to admit though, I didn't. We jumped over. I didn't stay in a tent. I literally went to a hotel, man. Afterwards,
everybody bloody a lot of people do. Everybody who stays in a tent has a shit time. Exactly. You don't get covered in muck when you're watching Doctor Who, do you? Particularly classic Doctor Who. Even the 15th Doctor was getting a viewing in there of Pyramids of Mars in a recent episode. Yeah, stick with Doctor Who. You won't go far wrong. Wasn't Matt Smith with Orbital at Glastonbury? Was that Glastonbury? I think it was it was another festival, wasn't it? I don't think it was at Glastonbury, but I could be wrong. It's been a few years ago now. That was before he appeared on screen, wasn't it? As I remember.
Yeah, I don't know. I only been there once.
Komodo reminds us of the David Bowie 2000 Glastonbury. David Bowie was incredible. Yeah, I think that was probably the crowning achievement of Glastonbury. Once Bowie had done it, there was because Bowie was kind of the father of that kind of music in Britain. Once he'd done it, it was game over, really. I mean, when you've got that, I used to love Elton John, but the guy can't sing anymore.
No,
he just shouts vague versions of the same songs that we grew up listening to, and people still clap for it. So, it's a little bit sad in my opinion.
Isn't it true that Glastonbury used to be for the independent music when it started? It wasn't about the big stars. Now they've monopolized it, and now it's not. It's a shadow of what used to be. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, we have Glaston budget here.
Glaston budget.
what does that entail?
Budget, yeah.
Sitting on allotment.
Indie bands.
What?
Yeah, it's really
in a
just
carrot.
a cheap thing. Yeah, but really fun, really nice indie bands that play good music, and it's cheap as chips because it's Glaston budget. Yeah, it's a right laugh. I like it a lot.
I do it your way. I think that sounds like a lot more fun, and you wouldn't get quite so dirty, would you? Speaking of dirt, no pronouns here, who contacted us on X. So no pronouns says he's watching, and he even sent in a picture of him doing it. So no pronouns was watching Garden Rescue instead. Says it makes more sense than using a bungee cord to drag a giant doggy along a time corridor. So he's having a lot of fun watching Garden Rescue. I don't know what Garden Rescue is, but it sounds like one of those shows where they go around somebody's house and tell them that their house is a shithole or their garden is crap, and they give them an hour, John, and when they leave, it looks like something from the Cheltenham.
Yeah, you never see them giving the bill, though, do you?
The explanations in the title, I guess. They come and they rescue gardens that are just crap.
Ground Force.
Yeah.
The Ground Force, that was the one that was on when I was a kid. Yeah. Yeah.
God,
Mark
rest
Jones
you.
says that TV is awful tonight. I really miss my Saturday night helping of Doctor Who. So some of the people are actually missing it, Sean. It's not just you and I.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely fine. I can actually almost feel Ian sighing at that.
No.
But I, I'm only
It
joking.
wasn't.
But,
It wasn't only Doctor Who, was it? It was because like Saturday nights used to be the time before you went out, right? So it would be blind date. Now it'd be Doctor Who or something like that, and then
Noel's
blind
house
date,
party.
Noel's house party. Do you know what I mean? Before you went out and got drunk, and then come back and watch what is it? 911 with William Shatner. 2 o'clock in the morning, you're sitting there drunk as hell watching William Shatner talk rubbish. So that was Saturday nights for me for like 2 years, So
That's it. Sort of pick the remains of the lager, lick the remains of the lager from your chin.
Right, yeah.
Obviously call her a taxi, and then watch any old crap until the small hours. That's kind of how it used to go down for me, John.
Yeah. It's a mirror version
Congratulations.
of me. Yeah.
We used to have American Gladiators. Do you remember that? 2 o'clock in the morning, the American.
Yes,
Gladiators.
I do.
You used to sit there, used to watch the titles, and then you wake up and it's morning because you're so screwed. So yeah, it was those were the days.
Or
mate.
watching Davina McCall present God's Gift, that bloody awful dating show. Do you remember that?
Yes, I remember that. Oh my God, that was awful. Oh,
It's
Lord.
incredible her career survived that. That was easily one of the worst shows on TV.
Yeah. Get Stuffed, and remember that show? Get Stuffed.
Get Stuffed. No, I don't. Sounds like my bag.
Yeah, it was 2 o'clock in the morning. The students used to make anything that was in the cupboard. They used to make something that's edible. That's why it was called Get. It was really bad TV, but again, you only watch 15 minutes of it, and then you're asleep because you've been drinking so much. So, yeah, those were the days, eh? Thank God they're not here again.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we can bemoan the loss of TV past, can't we? And we can sneer at Glastonbury and the European football and all that kind of thing. But it is a kind of harsh reality that we live in at the moment. And some aspects of modern entertainment I do enjoy. I like the convenience of streaming, if I'm honest. And I like the fact that John, that if you don't see it that night, you haven't missed it.
Yeah.
And, it's there. I think that's generally speaking that progress is good. And we're better off now than we were then. But I'm quite sympathetic to this complaint here from Richard Johnson. He's been in touch, and he said the most frustrating thing about this and most other modern shows of its kind is that you get 8 to 10 episodes either all at once or in succession, and then there's nothing for 18 to 24 months. It's an endless cycle of feast and famine. So whilst we were saying that we've all got the playlist with other shows we want to get around to, if something is your favourite and it's off for a year and a half, 2 years, that can feel, because that it's the same with me with House of the Dragon. That's come back after nearly 2 years. So I know what Richard means.
Yeah, and I think I'd still miss the old, the week to week episodes where you'd have more of a conversation at work. They called it the water cooler chat, didn't they?
Yeah.
Oh, did you see that at the weekend? It's brilliant, wasn't it? And you're buzzed to get to the next episode, and then you keep going. But I do agree, you can literally binge it in a weekend now, and then you're like, oh right, okay, what am I off to now? Okay, I'm going back to X-Files again.
It's like a drop in the ocean though with all these shows. You find one that you really like, and then it doesn't get season 2 because not a lot of people have watched it. We're just inundated with loads of shows. There's one show that I really fell in love with, which is a Korean show called Attorney Woo, which I thought was absolutely brilliant, but that's not coming back for season 2 at all because I guess hardly anybody. Well, I think it was a big deal in Korea, but not over here. So that's what I'm saying. We're just inundated with too much stuff, and we don't, it's impossible to watch everything that's on Netflix. It's just too much.
I think also that we're now in a time as well where production teams, they're actually not putting a lot of love into certain things. They're making deliberately disposable content just to go on the app, and it'll be gone. Just to fill that gap. There's no love in it. There's no quality to it. We're seeing a lot more of that now.
So
that needs to change.
There's a film on Netflix that just started with Jessica Alba, right? And the first 15 minutes.
I heard.
Yeah, So first 15 minutes, you know that this film has no one that was involved in it had any passion about the project at all. It just everything felt so painting by numbers. The first 15 minutes of it. I mean, an action sequence in the beginning, you know, nobody cares about this at all. So I think Netflix has the money to hire these, you know, well-known actors.
Yeah.
But it's who they put in place to make the show. You know, if they just doing it for a buck, it comes across like that, you know. So I don't know.
They've made it for me because it's got Jessica Alba in it.
That's the ticket, yeah.
I do like. I definitely like Jessica.
They know what they're doing.
Feast and famine. I think Richard's got a point with this. Doctor Who it does look like Doctor Who will be back in pretty much the same slot time of year next year. Personally, I think that's far from ideal. I think that backfired on them this year too. We saw it coming here at Type 40 Live. As soon as they announced when it was going to be on, we all scratched our heads. It's not that I'm suggesting that being shown in the summer cost them 3-4 million viewers, but it definitely will have cost them a good chunk because far fewer people in Britain watch the television when the weather's nice. It sounds silly, but I'm afraid it is that simple, unless the football's on, obviously. That's the outlier. Everything else always suffers.
But to be fair, Dan, right, even if you or me or even John or Shah was in charge, it's very difficult to know what to do with shows now because of streaming. If you're in charge of the BBC, what do you do? Do you know what I mean? What time do you put it on? Do we have enough people watching it? Are they going to be watching Netflix when you put this thing on? And so, you know, it's an incredibly difficult job to do, and the playing field keeps changing month by month when it comes to TV shows. So it must be incredibly hard for them to schedule stuff. They can only guess now, you know, especially when it comes to money and stuff. Yeah, sorry.
It might be, but sorry, I interrupted you.
That's right.
It might be the case, but that's why you have to write some bloody good stories to keep people.
That's right. That's what I was going to come to. Yep. Yep.
Oh well, sorry, I jumped the gun. Go ahead.
No, it's all right. No, you said it. You said it, and you're absolutely right. You know, the stuff that they make has to appeal to the people that are out there. You know, we don't. What they're doing is they're writing for themselves and for a small minority of people. Sorry. But they have to try old school. They have to try and, you know, reach the majority of people out there. But it doesn't seem they want to do that because it seems like viewership is not that important. So we're entering into a different era of TV now. Yeah.
Well, I think we're going to get more of the same in Series 2. I hope to God a lesson has been learned for Series 3, if that is going to be happening. So I'm I am at the minute. I'm out. If I hear that Series 2 is good or that there was good episodes, I will watch it. But as of right now, I don't see why I'm going to do it. I will much rather go back to Matt Smith. I watched that in the library yesterday, and it was incredible.
I'd like to ask Dan the question. Dan, do you think right now, because of what's happened with this season, do you reckon they're going to go back and look at, because everything's done in season 2, right? Do you reckon they're going to go back and look at it and go, shall we change a few episodes? Shall we re-edit stuff? Do you reckon they're going to do that now?
How can they not? Those episodes aren't. So glad you said that. Those episodes don't need to air, aren't going to air for the best part of another year, like 9-10 months.
Yeah.
Russell has said, for Russell to say that the ratings aren't what we'd like, that's really quite big. Yeah. But usually he would never acknowledge something like that. They know it's not working in the way that, you know, and we get people who watch and interact, and we love all the comments, and all views are welcome here at Type 40. But we do get people saying, you know, you're being disingenuous, you're being cruel, you're being unkind, you're being uncharitable. And the series is fine; it's doing fine. These viewing figures, it's not the end of the world. Even you know all that, we get a lot of that kind of thing. It doesn't really matter what you or I or any of us want. The fact of the matter is, the BBC didn't make that show with the aim of it attracting just 2 to 3 million viewers in that immediate window. They didn't. It's insanity. They had far loftier hopes for it, and it has fell considerably short of them. They have the best part of a year. Yeah, they've got
can
the best
do
part of the
that.
year to fix something. They're not going to. It wouldn't even surprise me if they didn't reshoot something here and there. They can't reshoot Doctor Who to the extent that something like the MCU can afford to shoot the new Captain America movie like 3 times. They can't afford to do that, and they haven't got the resources or the time. But they can add things, take things away.
Yeah, do you think
they
they're gonna
will
do reshoot?
re-edit the? I think it's impossible to say because I don't know the content of the episodes, but I'd say they will re-edit, turn some things down. Maybe they'll turn other things up. I don't know, but they will re-edit. And you know what? We probably won't ever know a thing about it, or at least not until Russell's left and writes another one of those enormous books about his time doing the show again. We want to know about as much about the production of this show as we can, Ian. But the simple fact of the matter is, we're not entitled to know any of that stuff. I don't want to have the spell broken for me. I just want the show to get better. I want the show to appeal to more people. I want them to make better decisions, not make silly decisions and take stupid risks. And I just want Doctor Who to be in better health generally. I don't think all is lost by any stretch creatively. But it will take quite a lot to win the general public back now. This has been a misstep this year, more in the marketing of it and with silly decision making than anything else. Richard in the live chat here says, I held hands with Danny Minogue at a concert in '96. I'd never wash my hand again, Richard. Simple as that. Yeah, a restraining order, the 4 works. We've got a couple more comments, which some people have enjoyed it more than even I have. Michael Wilkin Dolby says, I enjoyed the new series compared to the Chibnall's run. Who wouldn't? I do miss the routine of finishing work at 5 p.m. on Fridays and sitting down to watch Doctor Who at 6 p.m. So obviously that's Michael's over there. Michael's obviously over there in the States where midnight... Where we are, it's like 5, 6 in the afternoon for them. So I know that Gary Akers, who's again with us in the live chat there on YouTube, that's the time that he was watching it as well. Tea time on a Friday for lucky Americans. So they get what we used to get. So I like that. I can sympathise a great deal with that. It's obviously left a bit of a hole in Michael's life. Never mind, Michael. And then at the other end of the scale, we've got this from US Target, who simply said to us, thank God it's ended. There's no fat on that. That's how divisive it's all proven to be over the last 2 months. Wherever you sit with this, there really aren't any wrong answers, and your opinions will always find a welcome ear here at Type 40. I think I'd like to think, even though some of us are fairly angry, and I get why, we all want the show to endure and succeed. I'm hanging in there. I think all isn't lost, but obviously this isn't what I'd hoped for when it came to the new year and we were looking at, okay, this is the new era starting, the possibilities of what could happen. Clearly it hasn't happened, but the game's not over yet, and hopefully they're listening to, if not us, then certainly them, because the general public have spoken with their remotes, haven't they, John?
Yeah, and I think what you were saying before about, it's going to be harder for them for season 2 is because they're going to have to push a lot more money into the marketing to try and get not just the general viewers back, but they're going to have to try and get the hard long-time fans back who they insulted at the beginning.
Care about them.
Absolutely.
All failings of their own making. So they're really going to have a hard slog of it. I'm not sure they can pull it off, but I've always said I'm happy to be proven wrong. So we'll see where we are. Yeah.
We might have to touch grass again, John. So
every part of the planet.
Back to Char's allotment there, aren't you, for her budget festival? Yeah, you can touch plenty of grass.
Glaston budget.
Yeah.
That's
There was
it.
no grass
yeah.
there. It was all mud.
Yeah.
like the sound of that. One more comment. I nearly forgot this. We heard from Nicky P. Smalley as well. So we asked him the same question. He'd got other things. He'd got a real life going on. Nicky said, I was becoming a year older. So this Saturday just gone, our friend Nicky P. Smalley there, supporter of our channel for a long time in the live chat. Happy birthday for Saturday just gone, Nicky. Hope you had a brilliant time.
Yeah. Happy birthday, pal.
Thank you, everyone, for the comments there in the live chat across YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, and X. And they're still coming. Hey, B says, Space Babies sucked. Sucked what? Sucked on a rusk.
Oh, dear.
James A. Fitzpatrick, you know I love that episode. James A. Fitzpatrick said they need to edit out what I refer to as snarky political lines. I think we could see some. Well, to be fair, there wasn't that much of that this season, but I just think that tonally,
there was in the Star Beast.
That will be gone though.
Oh,
tonally, I think tonally it was all over the place, and that's more what they need to edit. It was going here, it was going there, and in 8 weeks you can't do that to the audience. You can't. Sorry, Charlotte, what you saying?
No, it's all right. I will never ever get over the, what is it? If you're not a woman anymore, so you wouldn't understand. Like,
oh yeah, the male presenting Time Lord bullshit.
Oh, it's so rubbish. You don't need to. I don't feel empowered by a line like that personally. As a woman, you do not need to tear a man down to make a woman feel good. That's the only thing I'm going to say on it.
You can't criticise her because she was very good at pressing that iPad in the finale. Come on.
I wasn't criticising her. I was criticising the writing. That for some reason you have to have a go at men. I don't know what for, but even though the Doctor was a woman, literally half an hour before. In that time, so
Yeah.
I think it'll be gone anyway as well because the party that they support as well is potentially going to be in government anyway. So,
well, let's not get to that.
But it will be.
Yeah, that's to come very soon, isn't it? Squib says, I strongly feel that Disney executives had a strong part in why Russell made this season, and it turned out the way it did. Again, I say this every time, Squibs. Disney don't commission Doctor Who. BBC Studios commissioned Doctor Who. Russell T Davies writes it. I'm not suggesting Disney don't have any influence, but I sadly, I'm a Russell T Davies fan. I blame Russell T Davies next to 100% on this. I have to. I think the book pretty much stopped with him. I understand that the relationship with Disney is fraught. That's all I can really say. But Russell, the main problems with this season are down to mismanagement, woolly thinking, taking silly risks, and being, a bit of an arrogant arsehole. And that can be fixed if one man gets his head into gear and if other members of staff sort of pick up the slack, really. And if people come together as a bit of a team, I don't know. Season 2 is going to be the same old. Again, it's probably been filmed in the same mindset, but I think, how can they not do something to it? Give it a tweak, give it a wobble here and there, and maybe we'll get something that's worth watching for us all. Just like the Doctor's trying to get a signal here on whatever this was. We live in hope, John. We live in hope.
Yeah, we do. Just need a spoon. We'll be all right.
Hey, says Lord Thoth. Hey. Geek Rambles. Amen. That's for you. That's for you, Shaw.
Thank you.
Frank Cronogue says some were touching grass, others were smoking it. I think we suspect that Russell, grows his own, some of the things that he's come out with in the last year or so. There's no merch for New Who. That's proof of failure. Well, there's merch on the way, Richard. I think, again...
Yeah, it's a bit jumping the gun a little bit there, love.
It is. If you remember, because the specials premiered in the run up to Christmas, there's actually a fair bit of merchandise around them. I'm not saying that people don't buy stuff in the summer, but I do think that the things that people buy for their kids in the summer tend to be beach balls, tennis kits, skateboards, all that kind of stuff. There are toys. There are toys on the way, but it's not gifting season. I know it's always someone's birthday. There are toys on the way. Some of it may have been pulped. I don't know. They have pulped toys before. Peter Harrington asks for a Millie doll full-size figure, please.
Peter,
you dirty so.
And a
Just
puncture
imagine.
repair kit.
Dear me, dear me. That's probably as good a place as any to wrap it up. Yeah. Don't cry. Don't cry, Millie. Don't cry. Obviously, Doctor Who will return. Yes, they insist on it. Doctor Who will return in a few months' time, and we're not going to stop talking about it between now and then. Of course, we're not. We're going to be here for the full countdown to the next return. And there are never any wrong answers, wrong reviews. We're interested in all your opinions here at Type 40. Of course, we are. So please keep them coming about all the things that we've been talking about on this show. Those fabulous comments. Thank you to everybody who replied to that across social media there. We asked people on X, on Facebook, in the Facebook group and through the page, and on the channel here in the community tab at YouTube. So we really do appreciate all of that. There was lots was sent. We haven't managed to get around to them all, but maybe we can come back to it at some point in the future. Let us know what you think in the comments.
This is Philip Roy playing the Doctor.
And I'm Mandy Rose and I play Jenny.
For the Doctor Who fan film, Doctor Who Meets the Scorpion, this is the Type 40 podcast.
Oh, nearly forgot. As ever, we're going to round things off with a last look at the view screen. It's a clear gaze right through the time window here in search of the prettiest pictures from out there in the Whoniverse. Yes, Martha, it's okay. We've got some just for you and for you there. So this is the part of the show where we look at fan art. It's traditional art, digital art, it's cosplay, it's crafting, everything else. We need to get the good stuff up here on the view screen for people, so we need to know where to find it. If you've got a favourite fan artist or creative, put us in touch with them or them in touch with us. We don't care how it works. We just care that we get some of the good stuff here for you out there, including this. Bring on the Scorpion, says Peter Harris. just watch where his sting is going, including this one. Yes, we've got this first piece from a friend of the show. This is the latest. Well, it's the latest share. I'm not sure when he created it, but this one's from Daryl Joyce. A fabulous moment from a very particular tear-jerking time in the Third Doctor's era, John. Do you remember this?
Oh, you can't beat that Green Death ending. It's so good, isn't it? And how he's done. Daryl Joyce, he's just a genius, isn't he? He really is.
Yeah, I think he probably is.
Betsy.
Yeah. Oh, with Betsy.
There he is. So, have you got to this one yet, Shah? The Green Death, where the Doctor has to say farewell to Joe Grant.
Joe Grant, yeah.
Oh, good. It was literally the next one on my list. But it's okay. It's fine.
Didn't she go off with?
I know what's happening. Oh my God, it was.
Geezer with a mullet, didn't she? She went off with a guy with a mullet.
She did, yeah. Who knows? Yeah, mullets could come back in, Ian, and who'll be laughing then, mate? Who'll be laughing then?
Well, not mullets for me, mate. It'd be an afro, won't it?
We've got several more comments in the live chat. Of course, Daryl's works are always very, very popular. It's so evocative, beautiful. Daryl, says Peter Harrington, and Frank says how pretty it is. Superb, says Gary Aker. Fantastic, says Ezra Goldstein. Mo Shai asks which Birmingham actor, male or female, would you like to be the next Doctor? That'll have to be a question for another time. What a fun idea. I watched The Claws of Axis again. Blimey, it's a real trip, says Frank. Yeah, I'm sort of rediscovering the Pertwee era as well. I have been for 18 months or so, because it's always been my bogey era. I've never been particularly fond of it, but yeah, I'm getting there. Gary adds that the long shot of the Doctor driving away as the credits fade is so sad. And yeah, obviously just bringing back lots of memories here for people.
What next? Pretty quickly, though, didn't he?
Well, the story picks up at a time in the future that we're not quite sure how long it takes for him to get over it, are we? But he does. I'm not quite sure how long it's going to take the fans to get over that particular moment in the last episode of Doctor Who, Empire of Death, where the big doggy gets pulled by the TARDIS. What if the situation was reversed, though? Whovian Leap has leapt to their creative devices to give us an answer here in this picture. Now, this one has done the rounds on social media. You've probably seen it. But what if that was reversed? And what if the doggy had to pull the TARDIS? In this case, what if it was Scooby-Doo? There, Shah. Everybody loves Scooby-Doo, don't they?
I have seen that. I'll totally watch it. So how a Great Dane is going to pull a TARDIS, I do not know, but stranger things have happened.
I know how.
So I will.
Scooby snacks, Ian.
Yeah, exactly. Just off the frame, there's a big sandwich that made by Shaggy that he's chasing. So there you go.
Fabulous. You a Scooby-Doo fan, John?
Oh yeah, who's not a Scooby-Doo fan?
Yeah, right. I know.
Scooby-Doo. Fantastic.
Fly Highland says Scoob Tech. Oh dear. When are they going to sort Mavity? Says Craig Light. I totally forgot about.
Can we forget it's a thing, please? Just forget about
it. It's not a thing. They keep trying to make it a thing, and it's not a thing.
No, it's not going to happen. Stop it.
Just
yeah, you're quite right. Least of the worries.
Fantastic as well, says Ezra Goldstein. Yeah, it is, isn't it? I really like that. And finally, yes, so the dog, the big dog, that's going to stay with us for quite some time, particularly the idea that there's been a dog on the roof of the TARDIS that entire time, particularly one of that size. It's not very practical, is it? Perhaps something smaller, Shah? I know you're a dog person, but what do you make of cats, and what do you make of this?
I've got 2 cats. And I actually want a cat to be in the TARDIS. So I think that the next companion should be a cat. I love cats. I think that they're sassy. I think that they give you whatever you need in terms of energy. I love it. I think the dog should have a cat. I am all for it. I'm going to write in cat.
Colin Baker did want to have a cat in the TARDIS, but it never actually happened. I think the 7th Doctor had a cat in the books, didn't he? Wasn't it called Woolsey? Or am I getting my doctors mixed up, John?
Yeah, you're right. And I've got a cat, Poppy, and as I know full well that if Poppy was in the TARDIS, she'd be climbing up on the console, getting in the way of the screen so he couldn't see anything. She'd be cleaning herself in very, very revealing ways while the story was
So this piece is by Hansoy, and it was over on Instagram and X. And there we've got the current Doctor, the 15th Doctor, perched on top of the TARDIS, playing with his small change. Can't see that one hand. Keep both hands free, mate. And whilst talking to the cat, I have no idea what the cat would say back. Probably. Yeah, what are you doing with that hand? But it's a beautiful picture, and I really do like this. I like the choice of colours. I like the body language as well. I just think it's very, very relaxed. We haven't seen the current Doctor very relaxed. He tends to be sort of bouncing around quite a lot. So, yeah, more of these kind of moments. And I love the comic book style art as well, Ian.
Yeah,
it's nice.
They need a cat. I'm actually really want a cat, and that actually looks like one of my cats, Millie. So it's really sweet.
Oh, the more you mention it, the more you mention it, the more I think it's a great idea to actually have a cat or pet of some kind in the TARDIS. So, particularly as it's so large, I think it could make it a bit more homely.
Yeah, that cat would love all those ramps. Would love it. All the zoomers it could do. Oh yeah, get a cat in, Russell. Come on.
Well,
Stephen Braddock's in the live chat, and he says, "I love that picture. I have 3 cats, John. Blimey, that's a lot."
Blimey, yeah.
No, you take my 2 cats and you raise me 3. I love that. There's more cats the better.
Yeah, nice bit of artwork there, I think, from Hansoy. It is good to see the current Doctor is inspiring artwork and proper artwork as well, not just sort of Tumblr stuff and people daubing sort of the latest iteration of the latest pride flag over stuff and saying it's art. This is proper art and reaching the actual character. And I think it says something about Doctor Who. This may have been created before the season, for all I know. In fact, it probably almost certainly was. But between now and the next season, I suppose we'll know how well this Doctor is growing his own audience by the amount of artwork that he stimulates, by the amount of cosplayers leap on the opportunities to recreate one of his numerous costumes. We'll see which one proves the most popular, I suppose, Shah.
Hopefully that jacket. I love the jacket.
You like the jacket?
I can't remember where he was. I think it must have been in the final episode, and he wore it. And I thought, that's a great costume. You should have kept that. I didn't mind the little bits, like, you know, when they went back to the 60s. Didn't like the episode, but I liked the style, the fact that he had an afro and he had his pinstripe suit. I don't mind things like that. But when it comes to just a general costume, a general outfit, I love the one that he has where I think it's the coat and the trousers and the boots, the lot. I love that one. Keep that. And you've got something, you don't need others.
Fabulous, fabulous artwork. And we need more of it for next time. Of course we do. So if you've got a favourite fan artist or you know of somebody who's a demon cosplayer or crafter, send us to them or them to us, and we'll get their work up here for everybody to have a good look at, and send us their way or vice versa. What a show, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for your company. And you can cut out the middleman, of course. You can get over to our social medias, Instagram and X at Type40 Doctor Who there as well, to give us more leads. Yeah, back to Scoop Tech again. More leads on where to find more amazing fan artwork, or drop it over on Facebook in the Type40 Facebook group, where the discussions could be never ending. But we'll make our way through it all together. Of course we will, just like these two fellas. They're no nearer to sorting out that question as to which is the best, the new series or the classic series. But neither are we after 60 years. I don't know. Thank you for all the comments there across YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, and on X. It's been a blast of a show, but this is where we're going to leave it. We're going to jam the Sonic in the lock for the time being and head off. Shah, brilliant to have you on the show, as always. And your pooch made an appearance. Where's she gone now? Is she under the bed?
Oh no, she has to go. She was just in everything. I told you it was going to be Carnage if she came in. She's me in dog form.
I was going to say, you've got room to talk.
I know, right? Yeah. So she's out and she's sleeping now. She's there. She's gone for a snooze.
Brilliant, John. Thanks again, mate.
You're welcome. Yeah, good fun. Thanks all. Great stuff. Great chat as well.
Ian, I know that you're deep into filming of Rebecca Gold 2 at the moment. You want to send people over to the social medias for that, don't you, really?
Yeah, well, you know, come and support me. Rebecca Gold channel. YouTube. Just come and support it. That's it. That's all I can say.
But you're stepping up your social media presence there, aren't you? There's always new pictures for people to see.
Yeah, I'm seeing that.
Yeah. We're trying to complete it. Hopefully it'll be complete by the end of this year. So yeah, look out for it.
Good luck.
Help if you can.
And whether this was your first show or your 161st show with us here at Type 40 Live, thank you for your comments. Like Squibs here, great show, thank you. No, thank you, Squibs. It wouldn't be the same without you. Of course it wouldn't. So yes, we're off to roam around the TARDIS for a bit. Join us again, same time and space, different day, for more hot takes, pet peeves, rants and raves on Type 40 Live. Yes, the season may be over, but we're not having any of that here at Type 40 Live. We're on screen every few days to talk about it. Whether Doctor Who's on or not, it's never really been a problem. Never really been a problem for us, has it? So yeah, more very, very soon. We always have the time if you have the space here at Type 40 Live. We'll see you again in a few days' time. Bye bye.
Goodbye.
See ya.